like rock and roll, like Rolling Stone. We saw the Who together. Remember we had that?
The Rolling Stones, the Who. I didn't see the Stones last year. I'm kicking myself just because I've never seen the Stones, and who knows if they'll ever be back. Springsteen. Why'd you?
I don't put Springsteen in the E Street Band with AC/DC.
You're telling me they're both not classic rock?
One would be over there, one would be over there. I'm not saying it's not classic rock. I'm just saying they're two different bands. Like,
it's different style.
Oh, it's completely
different style.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, who are like the horns, rock and roll, like, music is everything kind of, for those about to rock, we salute you. Like, I don't think of football without thinking of AC/DC.
Right, Hell's Bells.
Springsteen ain't swinging off a bell.
You're right. You're talking about like arena rock. Is that what you're referring to?
I don't want to category. I don't want to put them in a category or a label.
Well, I think you kind of are putting them in a category or a label because you asked me which rock bands are still out there after 50 years, and I gave you 3, and you said Springsteen isn't in that category.
I'm talking kick-ass rock and roll. Kick-ass rock and roll. Is that a label?
I suppose. So you're talking about like you go to a sporting event and you hear this song being played at kickoff, at face-off, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Most of those bands are dead.
Ozzy Osbourne said he can't go on tour anymore because he doesn't want to be dead in a hotel room, which I agree with. It's great for him. He doesn't want to die in a hotel room. A lot of people have died in a hotel room.
You don't want to do that.
So
Not
I get
a great place to go.
If he doesn't want to, tour with whoever is the new Black Sabbath or Ozzy's band, that's fine. I'm fine with that. But I'm talking kick ass.
Yeah, most of them are dead.
I don't think there is another, is what I mean.
But like, AC/DC isn't ACD. I don't know. Like, you tell me, Joe. It's not the full band. But how many full bands are still going from that? At least everybody has a dead member or two.
I mean, as long as you got Angus and Brian John, I mean, I think you're good. I think you're good. I think you're like if I go and see Guns N' Roses, right? Can we put them in there?
Yes. Yeah, you're talking about arena rock. Yes. There you go.
Axl isn't Axl anymore.
Yep.
Slash is still Slash. You give me Axl and Slash, I'm in. Now, I've been to Buckethead. If you know him, when Slash wasn't in the band, he did all sorts of... I didn't feel it as much. So, if I had to choose Angus and Johnson versus Axl and Slash probably bigger bigger names, maybe?
Probably, yeah.
But who's better? Because
I'm
Slash
more of an
is...
AC/DC guy.
I'm actually curious how many hits AC/DC has that were radio mainstream hits. Like top, between Thunderstruck,
Hell's Bells,
Back in Black, Hell's Bells, Highway to Hell, TNT,
For Those About to Rock,
Let There Be Rock, Back in Black,
Whole Lot of Rosie.
Yep, Whole Lot of Rosie for sure.
Money Talks, The Rock and Roll Train, Big Balls.
You Shook Me All Night Long.
Yep.
Did we not mention that one?
If you want blood.
Yep.
Yeah.
We said that.
Oh, it's gonna be a good show tonight. I'm getting fired up now.
But what's the playlist? I mean,
it's basically all that stuff.
Are you going to get your ass kicked tonight?
Yes, I'm going to get my ass kicked tonight. It's going to be a good time. I don't think Money Talks is in the set. I think basically everything else you just said is in the set.
Come on, listen to the money.
That is a great AC/DC song.
Can I tell you, I have this thing where sometimes I hear an AC/DC song and it might be from a distance. And all of a sudden I'm like, is this Hell's Bells? And then all of a sudden I hear, have a drink on me. And I'm like, are they the same beats?
Yes. No, I mean, not to say every AC/DC song is the same, but it is that very AC/DC sound, which to me is one of the best compliments you can give a band. You hear a song immediately and you say, that's X. You hear an AC/DC song immediately and you say, that's AC/DC.
It's just like you know it.
Hit me with something else, Jeff, if you could.
And, you've seen the movie School of Rock, right? Which for Jack Black or whatever. I felt like
not start to finish.
Whoa, really?
I have not.
Because the kid,
the
young kid, just starts playing.
And
Jack Black's all about, and he's like me, like how I was just going, and he's like, now you, like, you know, AC/DC has all that.
Yes.
I don't remember now. And Beavis had AC/DC?
I believe so, yeah.
Now, Metallica has cycled through members as well, Matt.
They have. Only one member.
Well,
if you-
there are two bases.
Well, that's what I mean. Only one
They had a
spot.
guitarist that still hasn't let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have, Lars, Kirk, and
James
have been there.
Yep. But I mean, Robert's been the bassist for like 20 years now. Hasn't
Robert Trujillo
He's
has
incredible.
been. Jason Newsted took over, and then obviously Cliff Burton died. So they've been strong. Now, people aren't going to like this one. I think AC/DC's been more consistent in their style throughout their entire career, even to now, while Metallica has changed.
No, I would agree with that.
Like AC/DC's sound is like, you know, a new album comes out, you're like, I can't wait to hear the Taylor Swift, for example. I know we're mixing genres.
Sure, yeah.
But she
Very
came
similar.
out. She came out with a different album this year. She did some pop stuff. She, threw in a lot of love ballads and whatever. It was a different album. Like Drake now, when he makes albums, he used to just make banger for hits on the radio. Now he's changing it up. Metallica went from, real metal to a little bit more mainstream, to starting to do their own things like Saint Anger, and he got out of rehab, so he wasn't as good anymore, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But no, AC/DC could put out an album today, and it's still going to be, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
It's
they're like, the Rolling Stones changed. In the 70s, people thought that a lot of or 80s, they went more of a 70s sound, Fleetwood Mac's another one where, at times
Versatile.
They exactly. Not
there's
AC/DC.
there's no versatility with AC/DC.
But
You're
it's
getting
almost,
that.
but it's almost like that's what makes them great.
Yes,
And
they know
flawless.
it works. They know it works. And my guess is, Jim Murray has the theory that when you go see a band, that they should play them right. AC/DC, Jeff, and correct me if I'm wrong, they strike me as the type of band that goes out there and just plays them right.
Yep, I'm looking at the set list right now. Yeah, it's you're gonna have a good time tonight, dude.
Yep.
Beavis had the Metallica shared butthead AC/DC just because people.
Now, I don't want to get all fancy on you, but I've never done this before. I'm not going to be among the people tonight, Joe. I'm in a suite.
Yeah, fine. Open up the window.
What's that concert experience like? I've never done a concert in a suite.
Me either. I'm gonna tell you this much. Once you hear the first, you're just gonna be glued in. Like, there's not gonna be chit chat box talk.
Good. I like chit chat box talk until the thing actually happens.
Yeah, like, who's the opener? Do we even know?
I don't care.
Don't care,
I
right?
looked him up. Don't care. Never heard of him. Don't care.
So yeah, box chit chat out. Get that over with.
Yep. You get there
Do
early.
your walk. Get your food.
Yep. You shake
take your
some hands.
photos.
Shake some hands. Kiss some babies. Do that thing.
And then it's kick ass. Maybe you take your shirt off and swing it.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, okay.
Not in the box. Not anywhere, Joe. Nobody needs
It's
to
not
see
hot.
that.
That's the only thing. AC/DC reminds me of a summer
Yeah, it's not warm enough.
concert where it's like, I hate to say this, but like hosing people down.
Yep. I want to be hosed down. Hose me down, Joe.
Have a drink on me. Man, they got a loaded. They are. I think that's my takeaway, is that they have been the most consistent sounding band for however many years,
Yep,
even
it's
with
a
a
good
new
take.
lead singer.
It's a good take. You're right, because it's everything they do is AC/DC. That's it. That's a skill, man.
So we had a caller call in and mention Iron Maiden as a band that really hasn't changed their sound.
Yeah, but they how can they?
That's
like,
true.
they're not Iron Maiden if they did change their sound, I mean, I would say Tool's been pretty consistent. I know we're getting,
Yep. Yeah, no, Tool is...
Tool's been pretty consistent on their sound, right? Pink Floyd, early on in their career, was a little more of that English, super band. Like, if you listen to their old stuff, it's like, this is the Beatles. And then they veered off into the
Dark
weird
Side
stuff,
of the Moon and all that.
and the Wall. And Led Zeppelin,
No, definitely had a lot of versatility.
A lot of
You
versatility.
go from 1 to 4, but I mean, there's everything, right? I mean, there's Kashmir to, going to California. Like, there's all kinds of stuff in there.
Our chat says AC/DC reminds me of a cheap strip club with nasty biker chicks on stage.
Yep, exactly. But here's the thing. You know what you're getting into.
Yes.
It is very, I don't know if you want to use the term predictable, Joe, but yes, that is AC/DC.
Are you gonna see leather chaps tonight?
I'm sure I will. Although, I don't know. In the suite.
Yeah, but you're gonna be from afar. This might be a binocular night.
I do have a pair of binoculars.
Yeah, but I don't know who. I don't bring binoculars to a concert. Out. Now, glove to a baseball game? That's a different story, right?
Where are you sitting?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Where are you sitting?
By the way, this guy caught one the other night with his kid on his shoulders. I don't know if you saw it.
I did not.
The ball was coming towards him. The kid got scared and covered his eyes, and he still caught it.
Well, I mean, you probably saw my incident up on the monster seats last
I do,
year,
yes.
Yeah.
I
should have
I
brought
was
my
live
glove.
on the air,
Should have brought my glove.
and we did live play-by-play on this one.
Yeah. It was not a good look for me. Totally ducked that one.
I hope we didn't butcher the music conversation for people today. I think we did a fair job of holding the justice of AC/DC.
Solid. Yeah. Let's call them what they are. One of the more consistent sounding rock bands ever.
Now,
They're not the greatest rock band ever,
they're
but
not.
They are
But they are
all-time
probably, I bet you there's someone who would tell you they are.
yes. They'd be wrong, but
In my opinion, I think Led Zeppelin's the greatest rock and roll band, and I love Pink Floyd.
I would agree.
And
Zeppelin,
Alice in Chains is my favorite band.
yeah, for the influence that Zeppelin had over all of music, yeah, you could make a real good argument.
I would
Zeppelin.
even say their influence.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. Just close your eyes and listen to Chris Cornell, who's no longer with us, and tell me you don't hear AC/DC Brian Johnson or like Bon Scott, or even for that matter, listening to Jimmy Page on the guitar. The song Cochise. The Bruins song.
Oh yeah.
It's the same riff as. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you play guitar, it's the same. But do you see what I mean by the influence? It's
Totally.
all there. Anyways. Sports?
Yeah. We could do it.
Yeah.
We are on 98.5, the Sports Hub. I mean, theoretically.
Since we're on topics. I'm going to throw this one out there. How about should we take first? Should we take and then topic? Or topic then take?
Topic, then take. Let the take marinate.
Tease.
Oh.
Marinating will be air fried.
How
Yours
long?
is marinating now as well.
8
will be air fried.
8 minutes, 400.
400.
That's how you do salmon.
Yep.
8 minutes, 400.
All right. Well, I think we should start baseball.
In. Music talk, baseball talk.
Numbers.
Joe,
Numbers.
Glad I'm here. Glad I showed up.
All right. As I said, I started the show saying, do you think there'll be any Star Wars stuff at the show tonight?
AC/DC? Probably not. I mean,
Like
should
if
there
Angus came out with a Chewbacca head, that'd be cool.
be? I'd be into it.
Imagine him just playing with his leg.
Comes out with just his boxers on like at school.
All right, we got to go to break. Matt McCarthy's here. Jeff Williams is here. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Up.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.
All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Joe Murray, Matt McCarthy. We're rocking and rolling today. Red Sox. Let's start there. What's the biggest number one concern right now for you, Matt? As we sit here on May the 4th, after another loss yesterday, after another questionable decision by the manager, although they battled back. Right now, what is your number one concern regarding the Boston Red Sox?
Culture. Winning culture, because I don't think they have one. And a big part of that is situational baseball, where they are terrible. Joe, the Red Sox are 0-12 when trailing after 6 innings. Most of those games have been close. The Red Sox are 4-8 in 1-run games. They are 6-9 in 2-run games. 3 of those wins, of those 6 wins, come against the White Sox. This team can't win close baseball games. And the manager is a big part of that. He's mismanaging games left and right. He's had a bad start to the year. And, Joe, I'm an Alex Cora guy. I've defended Cora for a long time. I don't think the job he's done has been defensible this year. They're not good enough in close situations, which is a reflection in big part of the manager. They're awful in the final 4 innings of the game. In late and close situations, you sent me these stats. The Red Sox are 28th in baseball offensively. So any way you put it, any way you look at it, you say this team isn't winning as many games as they should. They're 1 game over 500. They're a couple games out of first place. Like this is not a disaster. It's far from it, but it's the way they're losing games that concerns me. They're just not good enough when the game is close. And I think there are a million different reasons for that. I think, it's not just one factor, but the manager's a big part of it. And the players are obviously a huge part of it. And I think, this is a team that's been brought up, and I think, in a losing environment. The core of this team doesn't know how to win, which was the biggest question coming into this year. Now they have the roster that's capable of winning, but you brought up a whole bunch of guys in an environment where losing was okay. And now that you're expected to win some baseball games, you don't quite know how to do it. The little things. This team does the little things poorly. It's my biggest concern.
Well, I'll give you this number as well. The Red Sox, their run differential, this is going into Friday night, was plus 14. So they lost yesterday, so knock off a run, right? In innings 1 through 5, they're good. 105 runs scored, 74 runs allowed. In innings 6 through 10, they were minus 17.
Yep.
61 runs scored, 78 runs allowed.
Yeah, not good enough. And by the way, the bullpen had been pretty good up until this week. The bullpen had overperformed up until this week. Now it's starting to catch up with them a little bit, their lack of talent out there, which is probably the biggest hole on the roster. The starting pitching has been better as of late. The bullpen's been worse. But those late inning numbers aren't entirely a reflection of the bullpen. I think in some ways a lot of those late inning numbers are a reflection of the offense and what they do in late game situations, which is nothing. They do the worst possible thing in late game situations. Yesterday's a perfect example of it. Joe, they left the tying run on base in the 8th and 9th inning. They couldn't get it done. And I've seen a million games like that this year so far. That's their problem.
When opponents from the other team, late in games versus the Red Sox, what would you say that they throw? The gas or the ass?
They throw the gas. They do not throw the ass, Joe.
Why do they throw the gas?
Because the Red Sox can't hit the gas. The Red Sox hit ass. They don't hit gas.
And
Rafael Devers yesterday, well, he got the gas and the ass, and he couldn't hit either.
So basically they get kicked in theirs late in games.
With gas, with power stuff. And that's another reason the Red Sox struggle late in games is because bullpen arms typically come in, they're throwing hard. The Red Sox have a number of guys who can't hit velocity. Devers has not hit velocity this year. Trevor Story cannot hit velocity. So, there are guys who can tee off on starting pitchers who, maybe don't have the stuff that your, 1-inning bullpen specialist has. And that's one of the many reasons this team struggles in late game situations.
I can give you 3 examples of where manager Alex Cora mismanaged. Lucas Giolito, do you leave him in too long?
Yeah, he was too late on the bullpen. After the first home run, that's probably the time to go.
How about Tanner Houck's night going to the bullpen?
I didn't have as much a problem with that. I had a problem with the way Cora managed the 8th inning that night, not walking Vladdy.
Well, that one.
Yeah.
That alone was...
That's inexcusable.
Oh, but if it was the World Series, though, Matt, which they can't play in together.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, that was...
Stupid answer, by the way.
And the whole point, hey, I want to show faith in my guy. You let him close games for you. You've shown faith in Justin Slayton. You don't need to show faith in him in that moment.
How about strikeouts? Last night, they struck out 9 times.
Yep.
This was through Friday night. The Red Sox struck out 10 times again on Friday. They're 5-13, now 5-14. When they strike out 9 or more, and they're 12-3 when they strike out fewer than 9.
There's a lot of swing and miss in their lineup. I mean, a lot of it's approach, but I mean, there's a lot of swing and miss.
How about last night? I thought Dobbins pitched well. I did.
Competed. I like him.
You know, I like him too because he just throws. He's not overpowering by any means. Just gets the ball over the plate, makes a little bit of contact. But what happened to just getting quality outings and then going to your bullpen? What happened to that?
So I think Cora's caught in between right now because he knows the bullpen's struggling. But the biggest problem is not letting Dobbins continue in the 6th inning yesterday. The biggest problem is not having action behind him. And once Clemens hits the home run, that's it. You're done. But Dobbins unraveled after that home run. Cora didn't have somebody ready to go, and that's what brought in the 4th run of the inning, which cost you the game. You lost 4-3. So it's not that he let Dobbins go out there at 75 pitchers or whatever it was and start that 6th inning. That's not the problem. It's that he didn't have somebody ready to go when the crap hit the fan. And the crap hit the fan. He gave up a home run to Cody Clemens, who you shouldn't be giving up home runs to. A guy who was designated for assignment a few weeks ago. And, all right, so it's 3-1, but the game's not over. There you go. You go to the bullpen, and that's it. But how many hitters did Dobbins face after Clemens? Was it 2? Was it 3?
Yeah, why not pull him after the home run?
Because Cora wasn't ready to go. He was asleep at the wheel.
Do you know what's funny? I watched a lot of the game yesterday. Maloney's pretty good.
Lou's great. He's great in the booth.
I think the more I hear him, I pick up things from him. But he goes, all right, Dobbins back out there for the 6th. No one's warming.
Yep.
And he just they're going with him. Oh, and the rain's coming. It was kind of like all happening at once. The rain was, he was like, oh, my homeland of Framingham, it's raining. The rain's coming. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, maybe they should warm somebody up. Like, was that in their mind? I'm not trying to make excuses for them.
I
but
think
was that in the back of their mind?
Getting one more inning out of Dobbins, knowing they probably had 1 inning to go until the rain delay, was a factor. Yeah, but you got to win the game.
So the weather was a factor.
I'm sure it was.
I've heard that how many times now this year? I don't care about weather in baseball. I don't care about weather. It's baseball. Throw a ball, hit a bat, catch it, throw it. I don't care about weather. When did we care about weather in baseball?
Never.
When? Ever. The only time I ever thought about like the environment was when all those flies were on that guy from the Yankees that time.
Yeah, Job Chamberlain.
Yeah, remember that? All those flies were all over him?
That was a good time. I enjoyed that.
I hate weather takes in baseball.
Should have a retractable roof on Fenway Park. Ted Sarandis, 1999 Sports Talk Radio.
Are you awake, everybody? I yelled.
It's get all hot, Joe.
No, for real. Wait, when have we ever talked about the weather? When have we ever been like, it's really cold out there today, man.
Caller, have you seen Safeco Field and that roof?
I don't know how Manny's going to hit today in the cold. You know, can Damon get down the first base line? I know I'm dating us now back 20 years. Here we go.
I'll happily do it.
I know that Mark Bellhorn, man. Cold weather.
A lot of walks.
You know,
right.
It's going to affect Kevin Youkilis's eye angle today, the wind that's going right to left.
They've been soft this year. They've been soft. Culture problem, Joe. There's a culture problem with this team.
The weather.
Yeah.
They use the weather.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that.
It's going to rain.
I just we watched the LA Rams almost beat the Eagles. They blew it. A team that plays in where? LA.
Yeah, dome.
And they played in a snow game.
That's right.
And they lost. Didn't hear anything about the weather.
No. Did affect that game, though.
Did it affect the game? Yes.
Yeah,
Did you hear it from them?
No.
Did Stafford say, man, we would have got them today if it wasn't for that weather?
He sucked. He sucked in the snow.
But would he have said that? Did he say it? Did he say it? Did he say?
I don't remember him saying it.
Did Sean McVay? That damn weather today.
No. Culture problem.
Okay, can I add a little twist to the culture?
Yeah.
What's their identity?
They run.
Oh, really?
They run.
They run.
The running Red Sox.
Where? Run
To second base. They get on first base and they run to second base.
Do they get to third?
No, because they can't move the runner over. Once they get to second,
so
he
they're
just dies
very
there.
good at running from first to second base.
Nobody better.
That would suck.
Yeah.
That'd suck.
Yeah,
You can't get to third?
they're not so good at that part.
How many times in your life? Oh, God, I can't believe I'm going to. I almost just said, how many times in your life have you made it to second but not made it to third, man?
Joe, there's generally a problem getting to third base after second base. I've experienced that way too many times in my life. It's an issue. Second base, no problem.
Again, I'm localizing this now, or now I'm being relatable.
Yeah.
The team can get to first and second, but it's hard for them to score
in the first 5 innings. But when it comes to closing time, Joe, hard to get to third base. That's the Matt McCarthy experience right there. I mean, forget home. That's out. Out.
All right, let's take calls. I yelled. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not. Weather? I'm just... When? I don't think I ever heard Francona mention the weather in my life.
Losing culture, Joe. The manager cares about this. The players care about this, and that's why they're one game above 500. This is a better team. A better team than one game above 500. They are.
Weather. AJ's in Beverly.
Oh, hey, what's up? I saw AC/DC in 2009. They literally couldn't give tickets away. They were a good band, great band, don't get me wrong there, but all their songs do sound the same. Pyrotechnics are decent, but after 20 minutes, you'll probably be bored. I took a nap in the upper deck. It was empty then, or the upper bowl, so... I
think you're boring.
You think he's boring?
Yeah.
It seems
Joe's
personal.
being nasty this morning.
What got into him?
I have no idea.
I was very happy in the first segment.
Me?
Yeah.
It was the weather.
Weather pissed you off,
don't tell... Guy. Listen, I've gone to WrestleManias before where I've seen two of the best wrestlers in the world go at it, and I'm like, it's giving me nothing. But that's a me problem. I could go and do something different.
You're saying it's a him problem.
I think that's a him problem. I think he almost said blew his load early. He did.
Jesus, Joe. What do you...
He did.
He's going back and forth this morning between
We're
being
way off the
miserable
rails now.
miserable and dump-worthy.
No, that guy went early,
Yep.
got all his fun, and then wanted to take a nap. That to me is no fun.
It's hard to nap through pyrotechnics.
What's Bob got to say about this?
Hey, AC/DC, man. My buddy's taking his 2 grade school age kids to their first concert tonight. That's a hell of a first concert, isn't it, AC/DC?
That's
pretty
awesome.
good. What was your first concert, Joe?
Green Day, 1994. I wasn't supposed to go. I went.
There. That's a good one.
And I wasn't.
At the hatch cell there?
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to go. I went. Cool, man.
So we were at the same.
Thanks, Bob.
I wouldn't call it a concert, but we were at the same show, right? At that Jerry Cantrell playing the Newbury Comics in Woburn.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you know what's so funny? This is one of my topics today, which I'll get to later. But William Duvall's the new Alice in Chains lead singer. He was just hanging out right there. I hung out with him for like an hour, and nobody knew who he was.
Yeah, and also the drummer from Faith No More was there, and also the guy, the bass player, I believe,
Keith
from Metallica.
Yeah, Borden and Mike Borden and Robert Trujillo. Yeah, they were Jerry Cantrell's studio band for Education Trip.
You still got the CD?
I still got the CD with the autograph. And when I talked to Jerry Cantrell, he smoked cigarettes in my face and didn't talk to me. But I still love him.
Never meet your heroes, Joe.
Thanks, Bob. Yeah, Jerry Cantrell's like my number one.
Even after.
Bruce. Yeah, I said, Mr. Cantrell, how are you? I don't know why I called him Mr. Cantrell. And I said, hey, the song Them Bones, man, is that like a drop D? What is that? And he just smoked cigarettes in my face and was like, get out of here, man. He didn't say get out of here, but
It was implied.
he was definitely didn't want anything to do with me. And then I caught him driving a dune buggy in the parking lot. But he wanted nothing to do with me. Do the Red Sox have a first base issue, Matt?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'll get into that on the other side. I'm Joe Murray, and I'm feisty.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
today?
We're jamming, leading into AC/DC. It's music day.
Bow, bow, bow. I miss Tom Petty.
Legend.
I literally miss. I'm sad about him sometimes.
Just randomly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be in the car sometimes by myself.
Be like, I miss Tom.
And I look for a song to sing. And I find Free Fallin'. And I sing it at the top of my lungs. I think I saw it once in a movie.
I was going to say, you're like Tom Cruise and Jerry Maguire.
He's getting emotional over here. I saw a tear rolling down his eye.
Oh, I love Tom Petty.
Oh, me too.
There's like a soft spot there. The guy that got Dr. Dre out of the Eazy-E deal and Death Row and all that. Or started Death Row. So, basically, Jimmy Iovine was like, hey, what do you got going on today, Dre? And he goes, oh, I got some guy meeting me here today for some sneakers. And Jimmy goes, what? Speakers? And he goes, no, sneakers. And so he goes, well, why would someone want Dr. Dre to wear sneakers? And that's how they got the idea of Beats by Dre. Sneakers.
Huh.
Get it?
Excellent.
And then it shows how their friendship, where it all started. So like Dre was this young kid, was a struggling producer, worked at night, and then how he hooked up with Eazy-E, and then Jimmy Iovine got his first start, with Lennon. He was with Bruce Springsteen for a little bit, and then obviously him and Stevie Nicks had a relationship.
Who didn't have a relationship with Stevie Nicks?
A lot of that was covered, trust me. Yes. But because it's amazing, because even if you look past all that stuff, the petty stuff was great because, he wanted his music. Like the record company was taking his music.
Yep.
And Jimmy Iovine was like, I'm going to get you out of that deal. I'm going to get you your music back. And so they wrote the Refugee album and the song Refugee. Mm-hmm. And they must have listened to Refugee 100 times. And one day they had to be on drugs, I swear. They were like, why don't we just go to New York and listen to see what it sounds like in New York? So they took a plane, met in New York, just to listen to what the song would sound like in New York.
And it sounded great.
And they wanted Refugee to be the song that came out once the whole, record deal. Because, it's his music. It's what the whole song's about. And that's what took him off. And Jimmy Iovine and Tom Petty. And then he gave a song to, one was Stevie Nicks. He gave another song to Patti Smythe, I believe, was it? Or
no, Patti Smith.
Patti Smith, sorry.
No, that's Because the Night.
Yep.
Springsteen, Because the Night.
There you go.
Patti Smith.
Yep. And it gets into all that. And it's great. Defiant Ones.
I'm going to check it out.
But then it gets into, after that, it's Dr. Dre. Well, he has his own Interscope Records now. So who's he find? Eminem. Who's Eminem find? 50 Cent. Mm-hmm. Well, Trent Reznor's the other on that album. So who's he find? Marilyn Manson. And then it just keeps going. So it's like these two dudes one day had a conversation about they mistaken sneakers for speakers, and Beats by Dre happened.
Here you go. I'm going to check it out. That right up my alley.
Sorry.
Don't apologize. Why are you apologizing to us?
I went on a rant.
It's what Sundays are for. It's the Joe Show.
First base, Red Sox.
Problem. How you fixing it, Joe?
Two ideas.
Okay.
Number one, Vaughn Grissom. Bring him up. He's batting .289 in Worcester. Bring him up. Just bring him up.
My sense is that will happen eventually. I think he had played 4 or 5 games at first base. He's been taking grounders there. My guess is, and I haven't checked the Woo Sox lineup today, my guess is they're going to have him play first base every day down there. And I think you will eventually see Grissom. Toro is obviously not the answer long term. So Grissom's your number one idea. What's your second one?
Sign Anthony Rizzo. He's a lefty. He's a better first baseman. Will help them defensively.
Yep.
I don't know if he's got a bat anymore. Maybe he'll get the spark of not being with the Red Sox and an early trade chip and all that. But he's a guy who can play the position.
He's a pro. You can do worse than Rizzo. My answer is easy. It's Devers. You try it. It's now or never on this thing. Obviously, there's been some belief in the organization, I have to imagine, about Devers maybe playing first base. You go back to the Ken Rosenthal article in September of last year talking about signing Bregman, trading Casas, and moving Devers to first base. Well, one of those things happened. You signed Bregman. You tried to trade Costas. You couldn't trade Costas, which in the end is going to look like a mistake. Because that's a big part of this story here, too, Joe. The Costas injury has so many ramifications for the Red Sox in the short term and the long term, but it also has massive ramifications for the player. Like, this is a significant injury. Tristan Costas has not established himself as a consistent big leaguer at this point. He's been hurt a bunch in the minor leagues, in the major leagues. He's had weird injuries. Now he has a very significant knee problem. I don't know if Tristan Costas is ever going to be the same ever again. We didn't even know what Tristan Costas was going to be in the first place. He hasn't consistently proven it. I wonder if Tristan Costas has played his last game as a Red Sox. Like, if they find a long-term solution, this opens the door for the Red Sox to find a long-term solution at first base, not named Tristan Costas. And Rafael Devers is that person. They are not going to move Anthony. They are not going to move Meyer. It's now or never on the Devers thing. Try it out. What's the harm in trying it out? You could argue that
he's a DH. He's a DH.
That's what Cora says. He's a DH. Okay.
Stop. Can't stand that anymore.
It's easy to say that when Costas is your first baseman, and I know he had struggled. I know he batted a .170 this year, and he sucked. But he was a part of your future. Or you could argue he could be a part of your future. So the reason why you would hesitate to put Devers at first base is if you did that, now you're immediately sending the message to Costas, and more importantly, to the rest of Major League Baseball, that Costas isn't a part of your future, which kills his trade value. Tristan Costas has no trade value anymore. It's done. It's over. That thing is cooked. There's no harm in trying it. And if he can't play it, Joe, he can't play it. You move on. But the number one approach over the course of the next few weeks should be getting Rafael Devers grounders at first base. By Memorial Day, I want Devers in games at first base. And by Flag Day,
what's that?
June 14th, I think, I want to give Devers 2 weeks. Oh, wait, Memorial Day's early this year, right? I want to give Devers 2 weeks of games at first base. If it doesn't work out, fine. He's a DH. If it works out, all of a sudden, you've now made room for Anthony. You've made room for Meyer, maybe. You've made room for Yoshida, if you want Yoshida back. The roster works better if Rafael Devers can play first base. Simple, end of story. They need to try it. And if they don't try it, they're cowards.
On the Cassis thing.
Cowards, I tell you.
On the Cassis thing, I think there were some people that were a little insensitive about him getting injured.
Definitely.
Nobody wants to see the guy get injured.
Yeah.
He struggled, and there's no doubt about it. And did he potentially screw up his future and career and all that? I'm sure that he hates it right now. I'm sure.
I mean, this is Joe, he might never be the same ever again. This is a guy who hasn't really established himself in the first place. This is devastating for his career. Devastating.
Can I got a take on that. We'll break. We'll break. I'm sorry for leaving this caller on hold. His name's Charlie in Watertown. Hi, Charlie.
Yeah, so I got to disagree with you, Matt. So I think there's a lot to lose if they put Devers at first base. I mean, you could lose 2 or 3 games because of the result of his not being ready. And I agree with the Anthony Rizzo thing wholeheartedly. I think that's the guy that they should go after. But the one guy, I mean, they're trying to make room in the outfield for these minor leaguers to come up, right? And so I don't know if you guys knew this, but, Jaron Duran played on the right side of the infield in college. He was a second baseman for 3 years at Long Beach State. And if there's a guy that could play first base, I would much rather see a guy like Jaron Duran play first base than Devers. I mean, tell me what Devers is going to give you. He's overweight, never played the position. He's never played that side of the infield.
It might improve his bat. Maybe it might be his focus. There are these guys that like to play the field.
That could be. I just think the fact that he was so against it in spring training that I think to upset him at this point of the season, I think that's where Cora's head is at. He just doesn't want. I mean, he's had enough troubles up and down with his average already.
Right.
I think to throw this at him.
And I'm sorry to cut you off. Like we're up against it. How tall is Jaron Duran?
He's 6'1", so he could do it.
So I thought Trevor Story.
So I would prefer somebody who's fielded a ground ball in the last 5 years. Yeah, I don't want.
I don't want Duran over there.
No. But here's the thing, Joe. All right, I don't want to say there's no such thing as a bad idea at first base right now for the Red Sox because they're going to have to convert somebody. If you're not going outside the organization, signing Rizzo or trading for Nolan Arenado, you have to convert somebody who is not a natural first baseman. They don't have any natural first baseman in the organization, period, end of story. So, honestly, Joe, I welcome your crackpot ideas. Tell me who they should move there. Should it be Devers? Should it be Story, which is an idea I don't necessarily hate?
I think Devers should at least get a look. Whether it's in a blowout, whether they're down, they're up or down, just maybe an inning. Can they slow roast it? Slow cooker.
Yep. 2 weeks, ground balls, first base. Memorial Day, I want him out there, first base, Memorial Day.
But I am curious. Listen, I just use Anthony Rizzo because he's a free agent. Mm-hmm. But a lefty first baseman goes a long way. Yeah. Just I don't know. A take on free agency, how it's worked, and maybe some of the guys that have been here aren't working. And there's a number of when they get to the playoffs and when they don't. We're late, but we'll do that next here on 98.5 The Sports.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports.
yesterday. Should have mentioned that.
2-0?
2-0.
2-0.
2-0.
You're hanging out with the Revs tonight.
It's going to be a good time. Got the whole crew, I think.
Cool.
It'll be cool.
No, I'm happy for you.
I'm happy for me, too.
No, you deserve this.
I do.
Hey,
You're
listen,
right.
you know what? There's just like people you know what's so funny? There's like us who work the real world, this job. You work in the real world.
I do.
I was previously in the real world. I'm full-time now, and let me just tell you, sometimes I miss the real world.
It's not a bad place to be.
It's not.
A lot of stability in the real world, Joe.
But there's us. Yes, you're right. There's a lot of stability. But then there's like this radio gossip, radio goo-goo, radio gaga, right? Where it's like, oh, we don't get a lot of perks. We don't. Sometimes there might be like leftover tickets for an event. Hey, does anybody want them? And the station does it right. They do a little
lottery, giveaway.
It's great. I might get a free meal every once in a while here and there. There's nothing wrong with that. Thank you. But if you're invited by a professional sports team to sit in their box, I'm happy for you.
I'm happy for me too. It'll be a good time.
I think you deserve that, Matt. You've done Revs talk on this station. You have been a supporter of the New England Revolution.
I thoroughly enjoy soccer. I do. Always happy to talk soccer with you. Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, I'm your guy. Want to talk some soccer? Gotta have some soccer today, right? What? Oh, hold on, Joe. You talk. I'm going to change the TV to soccer.
Okay. What do we got on today? Like English? Is that English Premier League on today?
Can you hand me that remote there?
Yeah, no problem. You should have saw me trying to find these things the other night when I was doing a show, and they were like, "Joe, you should turn the TV on." I'm like, "Well, where's the remote?" So, dude, I can't stop watching this infomercial over here, but that's Kitty Cat, right? From
who?
You've seen the movie Bridesmaids, right? Not Bridesmaids, but Wedding Crashers. Sorry.
You know, Joe, this is such a character flaw. I have never seen Wedding Crashers.
All right, Jeff, have you seen Wedding Crashers?
Yeah, that's Jane Seymour, Dr. Quinn Medicine.
You know the one? Okay, yeah, that's her. And I can't stop seeing it because you remember when she was like...
Just got my bleeps done.
Yeah. And she's always like, call me Cat.
Wait, doesn't Christopher Walken play like the dad?
Yeah, he's the dad. And she's the wife.
Mom?
Yeah,
okay,
the
right.
mom, yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's always trying to hit on Owen Wilson. Kitty Cat.
I need to watch it.
I just cannot unsee it. This infomercial's been on for an hour.
Do you want me to leave it there?
No, I don't want to see her anymore. Because I keep mentioning the kitty cat. All right. A couple of things Red Sox related. I just got to get this out because you know me. I want to talk about other things. 40 is the number, Matt. 40. Remember the number 40.
I like
Okay.
Sesame Street over here. 40. Yep, count.
40 games. First 40 games. If the Red Sox don't have 23 wins in the first 40 games, they don't make the playoffs.
Say that to me again.
So, in 9 seasons in which they've had 22 or fewer in the first 40, they've missed the playoffs in 8 of 9 seasons. So, right now they have how many wins? 18.
18.
They played 35 games.
18 and 17.
Can they go 5-0 the rest of the stretch? And they'll get to 23?
No.
So they're not making the playoffs.
So I don't want to crap all over your numbers here. That's over the course of the last 9 years, you said?
Well, I'll just give you seasons with 23 or more wins.
Okay.
03, 04, 05, 7, 8, 9, 13, 16, 18, 21, all made it. They lost in 06. They had 25 wins, and they didn't make the playoffs.
So, different era.
There's only one season where they've had 22 or fewer and made the playoffs, and that was 2017. They had 21.
More wild card teams. Now, I think that would have applied more 5 years ago. I don't know if it applies now. Let's also look at the state of the American League. I mean, how many games behind the Red Sox are the Yankees? They're 18 and 17, and they're right in the middle of it. Sox are 2 games out of first place. Not 2 games out of a wild card, 2 games out of first place. If the season ended today, Joe, the Red Sox would be in the playoffs. 1 game over 500. So the bar is low. The bar is really low. And Yeah, the Red Sox have not played good baseball. They have underachieved. That being said, they're 2 games out of first place, and they're in the playoffs right now. Different era.
Okay. Just facts, though.
No, I'm more concerned about their record in one-run games than I am concerned about their actual overall record on May 4th.
Here's my other one. Is it fair to say that their newcomers and free agents have been better than the players that have been here?
Yes, because some of those newcomers have actually been in places before where winning has been expected, and they know how to win. Alex Bregman has been everything you could possibly want. I know he had a bad stretch there defensively a few weeks ago. That's not who he is. He's a really good defender. Bregman's been your best player, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. He's been somewhere where he's actually been expected to win and has won before. I think that's an under-discussed fact with the facet with the Red Sox, Joe, is that you're expecting guys who were brought up in an environment where winning wasn't expected, where losing was okay, and that's why they don't do little things to win baseball games. Cedar Rafael is a great fielder, right? He's tremendous. All the talent in the world. See that fly ball the other night where Vlad Guerrero advanced from second to third?
I did.
You know why Vlad Guerrero tried to advance and actually did successfully advance? It doesn't have to do with the fact that it was a perfect throw and it hit Vlad and he's a whale. No, Vlad saw that Rafaela caught the ball flat-footed because Rafaela lollygagged it because his head wasn't in the game. Winning run on second base, head wasn't in the game. You know why? In the minor leagues, you can get away with that stuff because it's about developing and it's not about winning. Here, now it's about winning, and those guys don't know how to win. That was a small little example of a team that doesn't pay attention to the details. That's a reflection on the manager, no doubt about it, but it's also a reflection of the players who haven't been expected to pay attention to winning details because winning wasn't important. The worst thing that's happened to the Red Sox over the last 5 years is they have lowered the standards, and you have brought up players in an environment where they are not expected to win. And losing was okay. And now they're expected to win, and they don't know how to do it just yet.
My take was I think that they might rally around the Cassis thing. And maybe because he's one of the guys. Like, Cassis was one of the guys who said, oh, I think all those big-time guys should stay in the minors.
Mm-hmm. Grown-ass men up here.
Why do you think he said that?
Because he has all the answers, right?
Maybe worried about his job. See, I think this, we talked about identity. The problem with the Red Sox, to me, is that we're always complaining about, the defense, it should be better. Or is Devers going to play for Cass is this, blah, 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 pitching this. Oh, and what's going on in Worcester? It's just there's too much looking down Worcester. Yep. There's too much what's coming. Everyone's always, it's like waiting for something to go wrong next.
Right.
And I feel like that's just the culture in that room. So when I say the free agents and new guys here are playing well, they're trying to start the new, where everyone else, I think, is just like, when are we getting the help?
Right, totally, because that's been the message for years. It's not on you to do it. It's, 2023 doesn't matter. It's about
just like Devers, when he asked for the help,
yep.
They get the help, but he doesn't want to be, doesn't want to move.
Right. Oh, baseball players are inherently selfish, so there's that. But you're right. I mean, I don't know if there are a lot of winners in that room. Let me just ask you this. Let's run down the lineup. Jared Duran, winner, loser.
I'm on. I don't think he's a leader. I think he can be a part of the solution. Never mind. Do you want me to answer your question?
Winner or loser?
Loser.
Rafael Devers.
He's a winner. He's won a championship.
Was he a big part of it?
He's a winner.
I'm not convinced.
Okay.
The whole spring training thing?
Still go through the rest of the lineup?
No, spring training.
That was not a winning formula.
Yeah. Loser. Alex Bregman.
Winner.
Wilyer Abreu.
I want him to be a winner.
I do too.
But he's been a loser.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily fair to Abreu, but yeah, you're right. Trevor Story. Loser.
Someone just goes, the Red Sox talk is about as cheerful as an AA meeting.
You know what? I am kind of addicted to it, Joe.
Hey, See you hit that home run yesterday off of Dobbins?
Yes. That was kind of a cool moment, wasn't it?
I looked up in the box, and who was up there?
I got a take on this.
Let's do it now.
Tied to
Do it
this.
now. You should give your take, and then we go to break and let people call on it.
I think the Red Sox have done wrong by Roger Clemens. They've done wrong by him. Are we still holding 30 years against him? 30 years ago, Joe? Can we get into this? I think it's one of the least talked about, wanted to say wrongings. There's been some wrongdoing here from the organization, and they need to make this right.
One keeps coming back.
Clemens?
Keeps coming back.
Yeah, he's been here. I mean, he's boys with Castig. So,
yep,
yeah.
He's very charitable to the Jimmy Fund.
Tons of stuff with the Jimmy Fund. Like, every year, doesn't he come and throw batting practice to guys who donate to the Jimmy Fund?
Yeah. Yet, number not retired.
It is not.
No one's worn it.
Can we get into this?
Let's do it. Roger Clemens. Here. Charitable. Not getting in the Hall of Fame. Should he get his number retired? We'll do that next here on 98.5 The Sports.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports.
Clemens went deep. Imagine that. One of the K's growing up. I remember all those days. The kids being born and everyone named K. There was a commercial of all of Clemens' kids. This is a good topic, Matt. So, bravo to you.
Thank you. The Red Sox have done Roger Clemens wrong. His number should be retired. Enough is enough. Joe, next year is 2026. It will be 30 years since Roger Clemens was in the twilight of his career and went off to Toronto. 30 years. Did you know it's also been 30 years since somebody has worn the number 21 in a Red Sox uniform? The last Red Sox to wear the number 21, Roger Clemens. They haven't given the number out. It's been unofficially retired for 3 decades. What are we doing? Put the thing up there. Put it on the facade. Joe, Wade Boggs' number is up there. For the love of God, Wade Boggs. What Red Sox fan was clamoring, outside of Sam Kennedy, what Red Sox fan was clamoring to put 26 up on the facade? 26 is up there and 21 isn't? Tell me why. Give me one reason why Roger Clemens shouldn't have his number on the facade.
That he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Johnny Pesky isn't in the Hall of Fame. It's a different thing. I get it. Johnny Pesky was Mr. Red Sox. And Pesky's up there, rightfully so, because every kid that went to Fort Myers for 50 years got a picture and an autograph from Johnny Pesky. And I don't mean that to diminish Johnny Pesky. I say that as a credit to Johnny Pesky. And yes, it was great that they put 6 up there, especially when he was alive. And yes, that was good. That was a good moment. It belongs up there. But you're right. That's probably the reason the Red Sox aren't putting him up there, because he's not in the Hall of Fame and we only made an exception for Pesky. It's Roger Clemens. Mm-hmm. He's one of the greatest pitchers in the history of the game. If he were in the Hall of Fame, and he should be in the Hall of Fame, he would be wearing a Red Sox hat in the Hall of Fame. Enough is enough. You haven't given out the number for a reason. It's time to make it official. Put Clemens' number up on the facade. Next year's the perfect year to do it. 30 years since he left. 30 years since tying the strikeout record in 96 again. It's time. The number belongs up there. The Red Sox have done him wrong by not putting him up there.
Matt, I'm 43. I was born in 1982. And in my entire childhood life, Roger Clemens was the Red Sox.
Yes. For a generation and a half, Roger Clemens was the Red Sox.
Was the Red Sox. And in 1996, he had a bad year. He went 10-13 at a 3-point whatever ERA. He was struggling. In 95, they went to the playoffs, but he went 10-5, but he was injured. He wasn't the same guy. He struggled again in 94. Like in 93, the team wasn't good. I think that's why his record wasn't good personally. But I do remember, 92, he was a hell of a player. I'll never forget when he swore at the umpire in a playoff. Imagine that nowadays with social media. Mm-hmm. Let's use, I'm trying to think of a star. Let's just say Max Scherzer or Verlander in the first inning of a playoff game swore at an ump and they tossed him. What would happen?
Oh, all hell would break loose.
That happened to Roger Clemens against the Oakland A's. Yep. The Bash Brothers.
1990.
I remember. It was a day baseball game. I was a kid. 8 years old. Day
baseball, man.
Day baseball. I was 8 years old. Clemens got tossed, and he was pissed. And I was sad. Actually, I'm pretty sure they lost that game. I'm pretty sure. But I remember being 8 and that happening, and it resonated with me. But I also, what else resonated with me was they had awful managers with him. Like Butch Hobson, for example. There were times where Clemens was listening to earbuds and running and working out and wasn't listening to the team. All I'm saying is this. I'm sure Roger Clemens did some things where they were like, we're all set with this guy. They could have traded him. They didn't. But the twilight of the career Dan Duquette stuff, I was in Boston the day that he pitched for Toronto that day.
And he looked up at the box.
He looked up. And that day I went, that's my guy. I said it. When he went to the Yankees, everything changed.
Yep, that was it. He went to the Yankees, and Clemens became an all-time villain. Clemens is a great Boston sports villain.
Absolutely.
You know who started Game 7 in 2003 for the New York Yankees in Yankee Stadium in pinstripes?
It's Roger Clemens.
Roger Clemens.
Remember, I still have the newspaper, Pedro versus Clemens, 1999.
Pitching matchup of the century.
Yep, I still have that.
Sunday Night Baseball. Trot Nixon took him deep.
Took him deep.
One of my favorite Red Sox games as a kid. Yes, Roger Clemens was a villain. As a kid, I loved Roger Clemens, and then I hated Roger Clemens. But you've won 4 championships. Are we going to hold the Yankee thing against him?
I think with Lucchino no longer here, a new generation of Red Sox fans, Red Sox players. I mean, I don't know what ownership thinks anymore. I don't want to make comments about Red Sox ownership because it's been lazy and they spent this year, and I'm not going to do that. But who did who worse? The Red Sox did Roger worse.
Yes. Looking back on it objectively, the Red Sox did Clemens worse. They moved on from him. And, yeah, he went to Toronto, won 2 Cy Youngs. Again, yes, there were steroids involved there. It was in the Mitchell Report. He went on 60 Minutes, all that stuff.
I don't care. By the way,
at this point, I don't care.
Don't care about that.
No, not anymore.
Because it wasn't. It was rampant.
Yes.
Everybody did it. Mm-hmm. It was like the level playing field. Now, do I think he could have played as long as he did and was as effective as he did?
No.
No, I don't.
No.
Do I think he could have played those last years with the Astros? I mean, dude, he barely could walk down the steps.
His numbers in 2005 with the Astros are ridiculous. 13-8, a 1.87 ERA. He didn't win the Cy Young. His numbers in the twilight of his career. Clemens' numbers after 40 are insane.
Now, there was allegations of PED use.
Yes.
So it's all allegations.
He was in the Mitchell Report, Joe.
Which I don't care.
I don't care either.
A lot of guys are on the Mitchell Report. Should we name them? Guys that are in the Hall of Fame are on the Mitchell Report.
David Ortiz did steroids. His number's up there.
He's on the Mitchell Report, allegedly.
David Ortiz did steroids. His number's up there.
Allegedly.
Don't. He's in the Hall of Fame. David Ortiz did steroids. He's in the Hall of Fame. And Roger Clemens isn't. Roger Clemens should be in the Hall of Fame. I can't control that. The Red Sox can't control that. You know what they can control, Joe? Putting his number up in right field, where it belongs, after 30 years.
5-time All-Star, 3-time strikeout leader, 4-time ERA leader, 3-time AL Cy Young Award winner, 1986 AL MVP, 220 strikeout games with the Red Sox.
Those are just his Red Sox numbers you listed, by the way, too. Just his Red Sox numbers. He's a Hall of Famer. If Roger Clemens retired in 1996, he would have been a Hall of Famer.
Who's next?
It should be Clemens.
If it's not Clemens, who's next?
They'll put Pedroia up there or something like that.
Well, Wakefield.
I loved Wakefield. And by the way, I mean, he has more wins in a Red Sox uniform.
Clemens.
He did that over the course of 20 years.
Yeah.
I would not put Wakefield up there. I wouldn't put Pedroia up there.
Clemens had 192 wins
with the Red Sox
in his Red Sox career. You know, he had 83 with the Yankees.
Yeah, he pitched 6 years with the Yankees.
His 2 seasons in Toronto, 41.
He was nasty.
Insane.
Nasty.
He had back-to-back 20-win seasons after leaving the Red Sox.
So let me ask you this. Are the Red Sox not putting him up there because of the steroids, or are they not putting him up there because he was a Yankee?
Or are they using that he's not in the Hall of Fame? Like, when Carlton Fisk made the Hall of Fame, Carlton Fisk played more games for the White Sox than he did the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Went up there.
They ignored the whole the old rule that you needed to retire as a Red Sox.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
They signed him to a 1-day contract so he could retire as a Red Sox. They ignored that. That whole thing's out the window. Like, you need to be in the Hall of Fame and you need to have played your whole career with the Red Sox. That stuff, it's out the window completely. It's a different era. It's time for our standards to adjust.
If they said, hey, on September 21st, we're going to retire number 21, I would be fully on board.
I'd be there.
And if we took calls from people that saying it shouldn't happen, then they should do it. Like, if it gets that kind of reaction, they should do it.
My question is, do people still care about the Yankee thing?
I don't. I'm over it. And again,
not at this point.
I'm older. Like, 2004 happened, and I'm over.
Yeah. They've won 4 championships since then. And yes, I hated Roger Clemens. Hated him as a teenager because he was a Yankee. Joe, listen, I'm a McCarthy, all right? My parents could have raised me to hate Northern Irish Protestants. I don't. My parents raised me right. They raised me to hate Yankees. I did. Not anymore. It's 2025. They've won 4 championships. The rivalry's basically dead anyway. Put the freaking number up there.
Do you know how people talk about Ken Griffey Jr.'s swing and they're like, man, what? There is something about Roger Clemens' wind up.
Perfect.
Because he's kind of a
big dude.
I'm not going to call him fat.
No, he has a pitcher's build. He has the ass of a pitcher.
That guy's got the gas and the ass.
You know what I call it, Joe? That is ace ass right there.
Ace ass?
Ace ass. Roger Clemens, ace ass.
But his wind up and
my God.
Just, you could see his torso and he's got glutes.
Joe. 2 people I was taught to imitate in the backyard. Pitching. First was Louis Tion. Like, you do that. I actually legitimately thought that's how you came set. Second one, out there with my cousin in the backyard, because he grew up in 80s, 90s, Roger Clemens. Stare him down, Roger Clemens.
Yep.
Peer over the glove. Oh.
Every kid in Little League that I ever saw
did the Roger Clemens.
Like, give it to me. Let's go. Come on. Yep. Do it. Just come on. Try to be the Rocket. Go ahead.
Yep. Great nickname, too.
The real Rocket, not the Chet Steadman.
No. Listen, Chet Steadman, there's a guy who gave it his all. Arm tore apart at the end.
See, what I love about this topic is we have people that are like, screw Clemens. This is why they should do
30 years later, you're screw Clemens?
This is why they should do it.
They should. Wade Boggs is up there. For Christ's sake, Joe, they put Wade Boggs up there.
If I may, when I watched Wade Boggs
get on the horse,
the AL East, and put him on the horse with the Yankees, I love horses, but I hated Wade Boggs. I've told you this off the air. There are memories in my childhood. Like when Aaron Seeley got thrown at and George Bell ran out of Mofont. That was like, they got my juices going.
That's my guy.
When Brett Favre took his helmet off after throwing the touchdown in the Super Bowl, I still hate Brett Favre, and he's a jerk now. There's a documentary about it.
He's not a good guy,
but it resonated. Wade Boggs on that damn horse. I wanted to knock him over on the horse. There is that horse moment by Wade Boggs. Didn't sit well with me. But you know what? What it is, though? Is there this, like, urban legend of Wade Boggs? Maybe the drinking and, like, the beer and the chicken and beer and, like, he's a 3,000. He threw the knuckleball. Like, was he more well-liked because he played for the Rays? Like, I don't know if it, like, he became more likable.
No. Wade Boggs isn't likable. He's not. I still... Take 26 down and put 21 up. Tell you what, Joe. You give me a 1. I'll go over there to Fenway Park today. I'm not a heights guy. I will get up there. I will slap that 1 over that 6.
So just throw a 1 right over the 6.
Yep.
In.
They put 26 up before 21. Can you believe that?
There is a myth. Come on, there is myths about Wade Boggs. Like the guy drank like 70 beers on a flight or something.
Yes, he did.
Didn't he?
Yeah, it was broken by the Always Sunny crew, but
that's what I'm trying to say is like there was like this thing about Wade Boggs became cool. Like when I watch Roger Clemens, he's here. He's visibly here.
Roger Clemens is way cooler than Wade Boggs.
In. All right. The phone lines are... Matt, you have the phone lines loaded. So we're going to go to break.
Do it.
That's how we work. Your calls. And we will get into other stuff today. It's just, who would have thought we're hot on Roger Clemens getting his number retired? But I am.
You should be.
I'm behind you. Yeah, they did him dirty. They did him dirty.
They're still doing him dirty. Put the number up there.
All right, you'll listen to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
goodness gracious.
Of all the dramatic things, John.
She got emotional.
A little bit. Man, I still remember that. That hurt. You want to talk about a teenager? That hurt. Red Sox pursued Roger Clemens in 2007. He wanted to do the half-season thing. It was the Red Sox, the Astros, and the Yankees. They offered him, $21 million.
21.1.
$0.1 million. Theo offered him $21.1 million, and he chose the Yankees. And missed out on a World Series title with the Red Sox. That one did sting. And I remember saying, I'm done with Roger Clemens. I was ready to forgive him. I'm done with Roger Clemens. Well, it turns out 20 years later, I'm not. Put the number up there.
If he bookended his career like that, would have been better for the Red Sox or worse, just based off the PED allegations?
No, it would have been great for the Red Sox. They would have had Clemens. They would have won the World Series. What a storybook ending. That would have been awesome. Would have been great.
And Schilling would have been done too, right? At that point?
Schilling came back in 08.
08, okay.
He had the whole the weight clause.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Imagine him and Schilling. I'm pretty sure that was his role model, right? Schilling was Clemens?
Yeah. An entire generation of pitchers. Clemens was their role model. Entire generation of New Englanders. He was the Red Sox.
What would be more important to you? Roger Clemens in the Hall of Fame or his number retired? You would assume both if he goes in the Hall.
To be honest, at this point, as a Red Sox fan, I think having 21 up on the facade means more than him being in the actual Hall of Fame.
Agree with that.
Can you tell the story of the Boston Red Sox without Roger Clemens?
No, you can't. You can't.
Can you tell the story of the Boston Red Sox without Wade Boggs? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, you can.
Both were on that 86 team.
Mm-hmm.
Boggs was the one crying in the dugout when they lost, which is another memorable moment.
Clemens started the game. He should have been the starting pitcher.
They pulled him, right?
Yep.
Or was 9, because again...
9 innings, right? Did it go 8 or 9?
1986, Game 6.
Can't believe we're doing this.
World Series. And again, I was 4. So I apologize if you don't like that I don't know that off the top of my head, but
Clemens went 7.
And they pulled him for
Schiraldi.
And that's when things kind of went off the hook. Man, yeah. I remember. No, you know what's so funny is I've heard Eddie Endelman. They went to him the night that they lost in '86 because I wanted to hear what it was like. He was going crazy. All right, man. Let's hear from the people. This is I'm interested.
I have a poll out there on Twitter as well.
Twitter
Matt
poll.
McCarthy 98.5. Should the Red Sox retire Roger Clemens' number?
Rob's in Weymouth. Rob.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Yeah, so Clemens, I think that you should retire his number. Nobody cares about the steroid thing anymore. Like you said, won a couple World Series. Clemens should be up there. So should Wakefield. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
I'm okay with the Wakefield one at some point. He was a really great Red Sox. I know he was here forever. And he also had, I don't want to use it as a gimmick, but his gimmick was the best to ever do it. Won championships, charitable. Had not to compare him to Eckersley. I don't want to, but Eckersley had some of the lowest moments and some of the highest moments. Wakefield had some of the lowest moments and some of the highest moments.
4.14, 4.41 career ERA.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the end, I can't do that, and that's taking nothing away from what Tim Wakefield meant to the Red Sox, and Wakefield was a glue guy. I don't know if you retire glue guy numbers. I mean, that being said, you did it for Johnny Pesky. So, the argument for Wakefield is Johnny Pesky's up there.
You want to talk about Dan Duquette hits? Tim Wakefield. You want to talk about his misses? Roger Clemens.
Oh, yeah.
Manny Ramirez, another big hit. Pedro Martinez.
Hit. Doesn't get hittier than that.
Not bad. Let's talk to Keith in New Hampshire.
Hey, Matt and Joe, love the show. Before I get to the Cassis injury, I number 21 should absolutely be retired. I'm 64 years old, and I saw him pitch many times. And Fenway was electric when he took the mound. What a horse. And striking out 20 batters 10 years apart, that's the stuff of legends. So I want that number up on the facade. So to the Costas injury, he clipped the heel of the first baseman when he ran. And I think that is a borderline dirty play.
No.
I'm
not going there. No.
Guy tore his knee up.
No. I'm not. Please, I don't want the caller to think I'm disrespecting him on this one. That was as clean of a play as possible. He wasn't in the baseline. His foot planted on the ground. His left leg hit the. What was the first baseman supposed to do? That's what you teach. Listen. I learned this at Parkway Little League. Whenever there's something that needs to be on the inside, you put your heel on the left side, and you even yell inside. So whether it's the pitcher or the catcher, that's the way that the angle comes to you. I find nothing wrong with what the first baseman did whatsoever. It's what you're taught to do.
Also, Costas' right foot hit the bag awkwardly, which caused his left leg to go that way, and it's a freak play.
It was not a dirty play.
He's not a dirty play. He's not. Costas is not a dirty
You're
player.
taught as a first baseman to put your left foot on the inside on the outside of the bag, so you can be able to receive a catch that doesn't go in through the. That's 101.
First base footwork. That's all it is.
I won't do the dirty play thing. No. It wasn't a dirty play.
You know your first base footwork. You should get out there with Devers. Teach him how to play.
Hey, listen.
That's all it is. Pick the ball, footwork. Pick the ball, footwork.
You're absolutely right. It's about footwork.
Footwork. That's all. That's all. First base is.
Who kills me, by the way, and I know I'm getting real technical here. Romy Gonzalez can't play the bag.
No idea how to play.
So again, ground ball to third baseman. Put your left foot on the left. Where's the board?
Who's coaching the right? That's coaching.
Yes,
that's all it is.
Yes,
and it's not Romy Gonzalez's fault. He's not a first baseman. That's coaching.
Ball goes to third base, left corner. Ball goes to shortstop or second.
Yep.
Top, upper, whatever, right corner. If it's something that looks like it could be behind, you get behind on the bag. You take it over hand. If it's something you're going to jump off the bag for, you jump off the bag for it. It's stuff you learn in Little League.
Right. But he's never played first base before, like everybody else in the organization.
It bothers me that they can't figure that out.
That's fundamentals. That's coaching.
This is why I say a left-handed first baseman would solve all their problems.
He needs to be good, though.
Well, that's why I think Rizzo can play there. He can play there.
He's going to be better than Abraham Toro. I'll tell you that.
Whenever I watch Romy Gonzalez play first,
he has no idea how to do it.
I want to take his foot and glue it on. All right, so it's ground ball to short. I want to stick your foot right here. Don't even leave the bag. Just stay on the bag. If it goes to first base into the outfield, just stay on the bag. That guy drives me crazy watching him. Sometimes Cassis did too. Cassis.
Yeah, his footwork was not. He said his footwork was impeccable, though.
He would do these stretches that sometimes wouldn't even impact if the guy was out or not. He would do these weird stretches where it's well, dude, if you just stay here, the guy's going to be out at the same time. It was always kind of like he was lumbering forward. Just stay back. What are you doing? So we have to do ground first base. Should we get a bag?
Yes.
Should we get a bag and do some drills?
I'll videotape you doing it, because I'll tell you what, Joe, you've now just described playing first base better than anybody has described playing first base in the Red Sox coaching staff.
Pat's upset about Wade Boggs takes. What's up, Pat?
Oh, McCarthy, man. I'm standing outside of Marshall's in Franklin because I'm so angry at you.
Pat, lay it on me, Pat.
Wade Boggs is a legend. I've met him personally. A great guy. A Boston legend. Do not deface Wade Boggs. You can't do it, man. It's unacceptable.
It was the way I was raised. Joe, we talked about, my upbringing.
Can't do it, man.
I was raised, again, you don't hate Protestants in Northern Ireland as a McCarthy. No, that's fine. We're all the same. We're all equal. The only people you hate are Yankees, and you hate Wade Boggs. I will never forget. I went to my first game at Fenway Park in 1995, and I will never forget, I think, whatever year it was. Wade Boggs was getting booed, and I turned to my dad, and I said, well, why is he getting booed? Because he's a Yankee. because he used to be a Red Sox and now he's a Yankee, and we boo him. And that's what we do. And yes, so I've held him against Wade Boggs forever.
One more point. I used to go to standing room only in 1984 to 87 to see Clemens pitch every start. Went to the Sears parking lot. $5 to park, $8 standing room. Clemens, Boggs, those are my guys, man. They're my dudes. I have to go back into Marshall.
And they're losers. They lost. They were losers back then. Losers. Loser, baby. They were losers, and they were crying babies. One came out of the game because of a blister at the World Series. Losers. You celebrate losers.
And they put them up there. They put one of them up there. They didn't put the other one. I want the world to be fair. I want the world to be equal.
Your generation, winners. Mike Lowell, winner.
Winner.
Who else played third base during his championship?
Youkilis,
winner.
Winner. Bill Miller. Oh,
winner.
Bill Miller
winner.
was a winner.
Xander Bogaerts, winner.
Yep. Winner.
Those guys were losers.
Eduardo Nunez, winner.
Those were my dudes. Yeah, losers. Everybody celebrates losing. All the old timers, I'm being an ageist. Losers. Losers, losers, losers.
Yes,
Carlton Fisk's home run. Lost. Right? 1975. Lost. The 68 team. Lost. Losers, losers,
they lost
losers.
68 too. Yeah.
Bird stole the ball, right? What happened?
Lost.
Losers. They celebrate losing. Losers, losers.
Yes. So I would put 21 up there. We've already celebrated enough losers. Put 21 up there.
My dudes. Losers.
That's a generational
Yo soy
thing.
perder. Losers.
It's a generational thing, Joe. You said it yourself. Who was the Red Sox when you were growing up?
It was Roger Clemens and Mo Vaughn, and then it became Nomar. And what were they all?
Losers.
Losers.
I mean, yeah.
And then it was Drew Bledsoe.
Loser. Should we retire 11 for Bledsoe?
You know, me and Skaz do a should Parcells be in the Patriots Hall of Fame
yes!
thing? And he is so out.
Oh God.
It is no, but the thing is I won't dismiss it. You know why?
He's a young person.
No, because he's got a great argument. To the point where it's like he stands by it. I'm not gonna fight with him.
So what's the argument?
He thinks that he quit on the team.
Yep.
He was only 500 for his career, and that the coach before there did the same thing. Went to a Super Bowl, had a over 500 record, and was better, and is not in the Hall of Fame.
That's a hot take right there.
No, I love it. That's why I let him do it.
I disagree with everything he just said, but that's, you know what? It's a hot take.
Those are my dudes. Sorry.
But that's the thing. If you grew up in that era, they were your dudes, and they had a right to be your dudes. And they put one of those dudes up there, and they have shunned and not taken care of the other dude. Take care of the other dude, who was actually the better dude. Roger Clemens, better player than Wade Boggs.
Someone wants to know, why am I yelling?
You keep doing you, Joe.
Well, Matt, if I was really, really yelling, I think you'd know it.
Yeah.
That's just me raising my voice.
Yeah, you'd be. I don't want to see an angry Joe Murray.
But when that
scary.
like Dwight Evans is my dude. His number ain't up there. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
He's not Roger Clemens.
He's my dude. You know why he's my dude? Because I watched him dig out balls in right field and throw guys out all the time.
Mo Vaughn was my dude. Should his number be up there?
1995 AL MVP.
The man. Mo, cover of Sports Illustrated.
Everyone that you all loved were losers.
Yeah. Yep. Didn't win.
Everyone that I loved as a kid throughout up until I was 15 were losers.
Mm-hmm.
Nomar was a loser. John Valentin was a loser. Jose Canseco was a loser.
Yeah.
They were losers. Kevin Kennedy was a loser.
Heathcliff Slocum, loser.
Well, they traded him for a winner, though.
Yeah,
Derek Lowe.
Good trade. Strong trade there.
And Jason Barrett.
Oh, strong trade.
Those guys were winners.
Eventually. Derek Lowe. He was a loser for a long time there, Joe.
Love Tim Naring, too.
Oh, my God. Don't get me started on Tim Naring.
We got to go to break. Hey, want to do some Celtics?
Sure, why not?
All right, cool. We'll do that next. Stay on the Sports Hub.
go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.
let's just get this Celtic. They play tomorrow night. Yes, I'm excited about this. Over under for the series is 5.5 games.
Under.
I'm going over because the odds are better, and I just think that the perception in this area right now is that the Knicks are frauds.
Yeah, it's a well-earned perception.
I can give you the numbers if you really want, but you can stick your head up a bull's ass, but you'd rather take the butcher's word for it.
Yeah, I would much prefer it.
Just take my advice that the Celtics were better against the Knicks than any other team this year, and that Brunson and Cat were the two worst defenders in the league against the Celtics this year. Just take my word for that one. Still think it goes 6 games.
That's a reflection on the Celtics if it goes 6 games.
You're right.
This is a good matchup for them.
You're absolutely right.
And honestly, I mean, the Knicks do not play. They're a more talented team than Orlando, but they don't play as tough a style of basketball. The Celtics should be hardened from that series against Orlando, and they should be totally ready to go for this one, and they should beat down on the New York Knicks. Joe, I think the best way to describe what should happen to the New York Knicks, and I might do a bit of a visual demonstration here.
Well, keep your pants on.
YouTube.
Hey, with these, Matt's taking his belt off. Oh, all right.
What is this? What am I holding?
That's a belt, strap.
Belt to ass. That should be what happens to the New York Knicks. Belt to ass.
I've never seen someone take their belt off on a show to give an example.
Belt to ass.
This is like The Rock right now. You know? Who'd he do that?
To Cody.
To Cody? I just watched the man.
Back of that one.
Now, if you're watching on YouTube, you see his belt. It's black, nice belt.
Very nice belt.
Cole Haan, what is it?
I got this at a wedding.
Is that a reversible?
No, it is not a reversible, but you slide it in.
Ooh, why'd you hear that? Whoa.
Yep. Then you have to press a button to unhook it. It's very fancy. Belt to ass. This would be an excellent belt to take to the asses of the New York Knicks, which is what is going to happen and what should happen in this series. Belt to ass.
One more number I wanted to give you. The Celtics shot 39 more three-pointers than the Knicks during the regular season. Made 39 more. So of the 4 games, they made 39 more threes than the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mazzulla Ball will be back. Because of your belts to ass.
Belt to ass. Boot up ass, belt to ass.
Got the rock on your mind there, Joe.
That's right. Again, you can bet it under 5.5 is -140 right now.
I'll bet it.
I'm the guy that says they're going to repeat and all that. I just think this series is more difficult than we are all thinking.
Why?
Because of we all think they're going to.
Yeah.
Actually,
they're going
Matt,
against conventional wisdom.
You have a great take on the New York Knicks franchise. You think that they are the most overrated franchise in history?
Bar none. In all of North American sports, the New York Knicks are the most overrated franchise ever. Tell me one thing they've done. Ever.
Willis Reed. Bernard King was a good three-point shooter.
In
Patrick Ewing.
1970 what?
Well, Patrick Ewing.
What did they do with Patrick Ewing?
Well, I will tell you that I was watching the OJ chase.
Yes.
And it was Hakeem Olajuwon versus Patrick Ewing, and OJ lost.
Yep.
But won the case, and Hakeem Olajuwon won. And Patrick Ewing had a layup at the buzzer and missed it.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually a finger roll. He could have dunked it. But he also was in Space Jam.
Good for him. Yes.
And he claims to be from Cambridge, Massachusetts, which still to this day, and maybe the lottery was
definitely rigged.
Yeah.
The New York Knicks are the most this is a franchise, Joe, that in their history has literally accomplished nothing. Has not really contended for anything, ever. Wait, to go back 30 years for the last time the Knicks were relevant, and they always lost to the Pacers. I mean, choking. The Reggie Miller thing, choking. New York Knicks, chokers. But again, that was 30 years ago. That was the last time they were relevant. They haven't done anything. They are the most overrated brand in all of sports. They are simply just there because, New York is the mecca of basketball. Oh, kiss my ass with that.
I think the media in New York is horrendous. People get, if you want to get on us, go ahead, but there's no bigger fanboy kiss ass of a sports team than the New York Knicks, and especially on ESPN.
Yep. Oh, because what? They're all from New York, and they love the Knicks, a team that has accomplished literally nothing in their entire history. Willis Reed, 60 years ago. Oh, Bill Bradley. Oh, he wrote a book. Bill Bradley was a senator. Bill Bradley ran for president. That's the New York Knicks. Bill Bradley ran for president 25 years ago. That's it. Just a bunch of old guys who think the Knicks mean something, matter. They don't. They've never mattered. Oh, Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. New York, the mecca of basketball. Since when?
Why do they all love playing there? What's up with that?
Who gives a crap about Madison Square Garden? Oh, the train station's right there. Who gives a crap?
You ever been there?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It's fine. Is it Wrigley Field? No, it's not Wrigley Field. It's not Fenway Park. It's not Lambeau Field. Come on. In the end, it's an arena where nothing good has ever happened.
How'd you feel about Carmelo Anthony?
Perfect Nick. Perfect Nick.
Did you hear that?
Really? Doesn't Carmelo Anthony, that's the New York Knicks.
If you wanted to just
kind of
have a cardboard cutout of the New York Knicks, it's Carmelo.
Yep.
Puts up a ton of points, Hall of Famer, Olympic gold medalist.
Has
loser.
accomplished nothing.
Loser.
What did
Did
Carmelo
win at Syracuse, though, but,
Congrats. Syracuse.
That's all they have. That's all they have, Syracuse.
You know what? Syracuse, they are the New York Knicks of college basketball.
Oh, wow.
They are. Oh, let's just talk about Syracuse. Why? Because everybody in the media went to Syracuse. Everybody's from there. That's the New York Knicks thing. The New York Knicks and the Syracuse Orange, the exact same thing. They've basically accomplished nothing. The importance that is applied to those franchises, those organizations, those teams is way oversized for what they've actually done. Yes. You know how many championships the Syracuse basketball has? One. You know how many championships the College of the Holy Cross has? The Cross, Worcester, represent?
Worcester! Massachusetts!
Do they have two? They definitely have one.
They had Mr. Basketball, Bob Cousy.
They definitely had
Tom
one.
Heinsohn.
Let me know when Syracuse has more championships than the College of the Holy Cross. The Knicks, one championship, right? Am I not mistaken? Am I wrong about that? They have two.
They have two.
70 and 73.
Yeah, you were there for those.
Oh, yeah.
Phil Jackson on those teams.
Bill Bradley, Phil Jackson. Whoop-de-freaking-do. The New York Knicks.
I have to tell you, if management is listening, there has been hotter takes on this show than I have been a part of in a long time. We've been hot today.
Strong.
This has been hot. So the listeners are getting a nice little treat today. We're hot. So let's go back to losers. Eric's in Reading. Hey, Eric.
Hey, what's up, boys? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, so the Drew Bledsoe thing, I got to push back on. 2001 came in the second half. You don't get to the Super Bowl without him. Want to know what you think about that? And in terms of the Celtics-Knicks, I mean, the Knicks went 7 games against a rebuilding Pistons, and I would argue that Ranchero and Wagner are better than Townsend. Maybe not Brunson, but...
Bad take. Sorry. Jalen Brunson was clutch player of the year. Karl Anthony Towns, although soft... Can I call him soft? Is it okay?
Yes.
Because everyone calls Jason Tatum
you
soft
can
and
call
not
him soft.
clutch.
Yep.
I just want to make sure, because Jason Tatum in closeout games is averaging like 34 points a game. Because, Jason Tatum's soft is what you ever hear that? You heard
Actually, I said that after Joe Mazzulla called him out, so I was probably wrong about that one.
3 straight games with 30 points or more. And in a closeout games, he's like the best player in the NBA.
Yep.
Just wanted to make sure.
Sure.
And then Drew Bledsoe, yes, did come into a game, did win it, almost blew it, didn't. And then they still chose Tom Brady for the Super Bowl.
Right choice. Right choice. They got that one spot on. People are now saying, by the way, Joe, just pushing back, nothing good has ever happened at Madison Square Garden. I believe the first episode of Raw was taped there.
That's right.
Yes, the world's most famous arena. Almost no accomplishments in that arena ever have anything to do with the team that actually plays there. It's about the acts that go in. Well, it's about Raw doing this. It's about Springsteen doing a 10-night stand at Madison Square Garden. It's that stuff. It has nothing to do with the New York Knicks, the most overrated, the most worthless franchise in the history of North American sports.
I think of Spike Lee more than I think of basketball.
Yes, Spike Lee. Who's in the crowd? It's not who's on the court. You know why? Because the Knicks have been competitively irrelevant basically forever.
Matt's in Braintree.
First off, Raw, the first episode of Raw was not even in MSG. It was in a theater, that theater place that ECW was in.
Yeah.
And anyway, talking about losers, Joe, I called last week with Paul Perillo, and, you know, I was telling him a story, an anecdote about Drew Bledsoe never wanting to play football, how he hated training camp, and his favorite time of year was when the season ended. And Perillo said I made it up. I then emailed you the article. Can you confirm if you show that to Paul Perillo? Because it's been bothering me clearly for a week.
I don't know if I got that email, and I can't confirm that I showed him because I don't remember the email.
Fair enough.
But I do remember him getting pissed, though.
Fine. Google Drew Bledsoe never really cared about football. And the article will come up. It was on. Yeah, but I forget the article.
The only reason why I push back on it is like he was a good player here. I know, but in the end,
right?
Yeah, he wasn't.
But he was a loser. He was a loser.
You said it, Joe.
You
said it.
I did.
You opened this up.
I did.
It's a you problem.
Yeah, most of the problems in my life are my own.
You know what? That's a mature way of looking at things. We have to take accountability for our own actions.
Very, very much. We're late again, which is
that's a you problem.
Well, I thought we had really good discussions.
You know, listen, Joe. I have contributed to this today. I have not been on you. I have not taken off my belt and directed it towards you. So, tell you what, Joe. If you don't stay on the clock here, belt to ass.
No.
Belt to ass. Look at this thing. This thing would hurt.
That thing is nice.
Look at the buckle on this. I would hit you buckle.
Do they make
side.
that up to like a 46?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to cut this myself.
Whoa.
Legit.
Have you ever tried to poke your own hole in a
Have I ever tried to poke my own
Okay,
hole?
listen, I've lost since I've gone to Vegas and come back, I've lost a belt size.
Yep.
But my belt doesn't have any more holes. So I've tried to create my own. Mm-hmm. Very hard.
Leather. Leather. You know what? Cut through leather.
All right, the phone lines are loaded still. I wanted to get. I've been marinating it. I'm ready to air fry it, and we're ready to serve it. We'll do it next here on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray.
right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Joe Murray, Matt McCarthy's here. Matt's going to the AC/DC concert tonight, which brings up my next, my thought. Is AC/DC the best band of all time to replace their singer?
Yeah, probably, right?
Like Van Halen obviously had Sammy Hagar. They were good, but they weren't Diamond Dave.
Yeah.
Journey had another singer.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Fleetwood Mac's had Genesis has had multiple singers.
So I would say Fleetwood Mac.
In Excess. I'm just trying to think of some others.
Fleetwood Mac it's a completely different thing, right? Because
it's like
Fleetwood
Christine and Stevie, and then what's his name would sing. Lindsay would sing.
Yeah. But it's like Fleetwood Mac didn't become Fleetwood Mac as we know them until they had Lindsay and Stevie.
True.
I mean, they had Peter Green beforehand, and they were big in some circles. But no, it probably is AC/DC because we're talking about a band that was huge, and then they lose a singer, and
and then carried on, and we're good.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have others, let me know. Now, there's plenty of two-singer bands. For example, Alice in Chains is my favorite band. Lane Staley died. They have a new version of Alice in Chains with William Duvall. I will say they're not better. I'm honest about that. AC/DC, although you may like Bon Scott better, they've been historically better with a second singer.
Yeah. I think you're spot on with that take.
Chicago,
Good
trying
take.
to think. Chicago had a... Just trying to... You got anything for me, Jeff, back there? I'm just trying to think.
No, I can't really think of anything right now.
But as far as second singers...
I think you got Linkin Park now.
No, out.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, that's on the table as well. Danny's in Quincy. Hello, Danny. Oh, I don't know why my phone screen's frozen. Hey, Danny, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there, Joe. After last week, that caller before me, he thought he had it bad. Have you ever had a guy call up and advocate you die of an aneurysm on the air? Or, that was pretty rough, man. That's the world we live in now, over a sports take, And it got through on a 30-second delay?
10.
10 seconds. Okay. Anyway, I hope the guy doesn't have any kids, okay? But anyway, that's the way maybe he'll call again and want to come over and burn my house down the next time. But anyway, that guy was right about Bledsoe. The only year he was Brady-esque was in '94 when he carried the team on his back. They won 7 straight to get him into the playoffs, starting with the Minnesota game. So I will give him that. But other than that, his football was not his first priority. The caller was right. But and the other thing on the losers thing, the people like Dave Henderson played on losing teams, but he carried the Red Sox in '86 in the California Angels game. I advocate anybody who wants to see the highlights of that game, go back and watch it. And I was old enough to watch it, not 2 years old like half the station. Both stations have half their employees that were 2 and 3 years old when all this stuff happened. So Henderson and Donnie Moore committed suicide. He gave up the home run to Dave Henderson. So, and Bernie Cabo get the game-tying home run. That poor guy gets no recognition. It's all Carlton Fisk, all of it. So, feel free to chime in anytime you want, right?
No, the only thing I'll push back on is when you say that all of us are at our age, that the age demographic that they care about is 25 to 54. So if you don't fall into that category, the ratings aren't good. And then
No. I'm not saying that, Joe. You are who you are. You're born when you're born. I'm saying that people, for instance, 2001, the Patriots beat the Rams, and some of your staff was probably 8 or 9 years old. I asked Dundero this. He said he was 9 years old. Then he'll come on the air and say it was all Brady. All Brady that won every Super Bowl all the time. No, he's not the only one.
Listen, I only can control what I can control.
I understand. I'm giving you a general example. Half the people they weren't old enough to consume sports back then to realize what Belichick did.
You agree that everybody was losers is what you're trying to tell me?
No, not everybody. I couldn't stand Clemens. because he was another trader. He went to Toronto to be closer to home, then he went to the Yankees. He was a steroid fathead who had a war with Dan Duquette. You had Mike Greenwell and Mo Vaughn. He's another one. And Mo Vaughn apologized to Dan Duquette after what he put me and the city through, that whole contract crap.
Enough. I'm cutting Danny off.
I didn't do that.
No, that's me. No,
I did not do
I will
that.
not tolerate Mo Vaughn slander on these airwaves, Joe. Enough.
I did not do that.
Nope, that was me. Hand up, that was me. Danny, call in next week and blame me. Mo Vaughn slander out. Not on my watch, Joe.
There are times where I may question somebody's age regarding their opinion. But I do think that it's healthy in this radio. Again, I brought up the Skaz thing the other night about Bill Parcells. He thinks Bill Parcells shouldn't be in the Patriots Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. In his defense, neither do the people who vote, right? He's only in the Hall of Fame because Kraft blessed it. Mm-hmm. So technically everybody agrees, right? You and I don't.
No, he should be there.
He should be there.
Yeah.
But the majority of the people have voted that he shouldn't.
Well, I think fans hold the Jets thing against him and the way he exited. And yes, you should hold that against him. I don't know if you should hold it against him that you don't put him in the Hall of Fame, given what he did mean to the franchise. The same way I would now argue that you shouldn't hold the Yankee thing against Roger Clemens 30 years later.
Can I give you another one? Milliken, younger than us.
Yes, you don't want him talking baseball?
I watched Scott Rowland play baseball.
Yep.
Very good baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
Not in Joe Murray's Hall of Fame.
No, not in my Hall of Fame.
The way that he looks at statistics, he makes the case.
I want Milliken to talk baseball to me. I don't agree with everything, but I want, and what? Because he was too young to remember 04, he shouldn't talk about it? Guess what? I hate to break it to you. We're in the year 2025. Most of the people who are of working age at this point don't remember 1967. They don't. They weren't alive.
I just watched the whole Celtics city thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things I didn't know.
Right. You know why? Because, Joe, you are a middle-aged man.
Yes.
And you were not born when a lot of that stuff happened.
I didn't realize they had some struggles in the 70s.
Yeah.
I knew Dave Cowens was the man. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that he quit on the team. I mean, I heard about it, but, he just quit on the team.
And we should hold
was the MVP of the league and just went away.
And we should hold it against you that you didn't know. Why? Because you weren't alive.
Does that talked about a lot that the MVP of the league just walked away? And
you know why?
Back.
Because it was 50 freaking years ago.
And then they got Larry Bird. Did you hear about that? And then in 1981, when they made it to the finals, Larry Bird struggled.
Mm-hmm.
So you know who put the team on his back?
Max.
Didn't see that in the documentary. Would have been helpful. Because isn't the story of all the players who win championships, they struggle first?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan struggled first. Mm-hmm. Isaiah Thomas struggled first. LeBron James. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Good stuff? I don't know. I guess I have to go back to that one.
You good?
Bands or sports? What do you want to do?
Yeah, give me a sports take.
Scott's and Lowell.
Hey, I just wanted to reply back to my buddy Danny, the victim now. The point I was trying to make about when you cut me off, and I get it, that is going to be the most entertaining thing. I don't care. I don't want him to pass, but it's just old. It's getting old. Even when he just called now, you could tell he was starting to rev it up already. And thank God he started talking about, what was it, Mo Vaughn or whoever they cut him off for.
Yeah, no, not they. I take responsibility for that, Scott. Yes.
Yeah, no. Well, what I'm saying is before you cut him off, you could tell he just can't help himself and he has to start getting revved up. And by the way, I do have kids, and if my kids ever acted the way he does every week on the air, it would be an embarrassment to me. So that's about all. I just wanted to say hi to my buddy and tell him that I'm listening, and that was a nice little victim play. So that's all. Hey, have a great day. And I am going to see AC/DC. I'm leaving in a little while. So, hey, have a good one.
Oh, you know what, Scott? I will wave down to you from my suite. I will wave down to you. Up on high, Matt McCarthy. High class. I will wave down to you.
Chris is in Andover. Hey, Chris.
Hey, man, how are you?
Hey.
I got a couple things. So Bledsoe won the AFC. You guys probably touched on that, but Bledsoe won the AFC title that year. He raised that trophy.
1986.
But the other thing is, the other thing was Genesis replaced their lead singer.
Yep, mentioned that.
Oh, you did? Yeah, I'm moving out of the car, so.
That's okay.
All right, guys, thanks.
Okay. Phil Collins?
I'm Phil Collins.
That's all I think about, too, man.
Peter Gabriel?
I'm glad you got that, Jeff.
But do you see what I mean? Is that, like, we have to use television show references sometimes to get over some of the things that we know about famous people that we don't know about because we're too young.
Yeah. Right. But actually, I don't want to, I hate to break it to you, Joe. You're not that young.
I'm 43. I'm old.
You're an old man
I'm
at
old.
this point.
I am old.
Yep.
I'm old.
You are literally more than halfway through the demo.
Oh, yeah.
You're on the older side
I
of
got
it.
10 years left. If they'd like to keep me, I would like to stay.
As are most of the people here. Some of them even out of the demo at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We really are old man radio.
It's true. Dean's in Shrewsbury. Dean.
Hey, your pregame show is overestimating how much the Celtics are going to have to give up. They said they might have to give up Porzingis. If they give up Holiday and Hauser, that's $150 million off the luxury tax and payroll. The luxury tax and payroll's estimated at $513 million next year. Their revenues last year was $493 million, and it probably went up this year. And the what is it called? The salary cap's probably going to go up next year a bunch. At most, they're going to lose Holiday, Hauser, Cornette, and Horford, and I think they can convince Horford to take a minimum deal. And even if they don't, they have Kada behind him and Tillman behind him, so I don't think they're going to be in like too bad shape next year. I think they'll still be the top contender. I think at worst they'll lose Holiday, Hauser, Horford, and Cornette.
Thanks, Dean. If they win the championship this year, I don't know how they break up a three-peat. That's my take. New owner comes in. He can't shake this thing up.
Sure he can. He just spent $6.1 billion on the team.
You aren't breaking up a three-peat.
Joe, take a look at
the Bulls doubled down. Why wouldn't they?
Take a look at Bill Chisholm's business history.
Matt, I would just
tell me he's not going to break this thing up.
I know that you are like, dude, look at this.
Yeah, it's not good.
I'm going to tell you that I think it would be malpractice to break up a three-peat.
Oh, of course it would be malpractice, but you're not the one paying for it. Bill Chisholm's the one paying for it. Let me tell you. He doesn't want to pay for it.
Where do you think he got the money?
It's a good question.
Because
he's got the money now.
Because I smell a little sniffy. I've been sniffing it out. You know, fishy?
Smelly?
Smelly. Very smelly. I wonder if Pags gave him the money. Like, I wonder if Pags got into the deal.
We don't have... Pags would have had leverage to get into the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Based on that statement that you got from Pags, I would be surprised. I think egos get in the way.
Yeah, but maybe he's still got a hand in the thing.
It's one thing to have a hand in the thing. It's another thing to be in charge of the thing, which is what Wick's going to find out because he's not going to be in charge of the thing. And then Chisholm's going to break the thing up in some way, shape, or form. And you think Wick wants to be the face of that? Think Wick's going to go out there and be Mr. Governor in that scenario?
Yeah, that's why they did the deal, right?
I think you're going to see Wick disappear a little bit when things start when players start going away. That would be my sense.
I wonder if Paul Pierce should be that guy. Let him face the music. That's what I would do. Oh, the Bobby Dahlback stuff has begun.
Don't begin it. Don't do this.
Oh yeah.
No. Oh no.
On the other side here, last night there were some Game 7s. There was some historic choking going on. Oh, historic.
Gagging.
Bad. And one man with a beard is one guy I'm going at. And we'll talk about that next here on the Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
this guy is.
They're talking about James Harden.
7 points last night, huh, Joe?
In a game 7.
1 point for each game. Good for him.
When you think about it, though, right? James Harden blames everybody. James Harden, Daryl Morey went all in on him. Well, then he wants to leave. He was at Oklahoma City, gets traded, becomes an MVP, right? All right, then he's upset. He wants to leave the Rockets. He goes to Brooklyn with Kevin Durant. How'd that work out?
Not well.
So they lose to the Celtics, and what happens? Oh, now he wants to go somewhere else, right? He always wanted to leave and go somewhere else. And, not for nothing, but the guy goes to the strip club after every single game. They actually changed their travel schedule so he could go out to strip clubs after the game. I'm not lying about this. Like, James Harden is a great player, but is one of the biggest no-shows in the biggest games of all time. Like, this guy was a sixth man who turned into an MVP. It's truly a great story about him. But the biggest choke artist one of the biggest choke artists in NBA history. Oklahoma City, Houston, Brooklyn. He goes to Philadelphia. How'd that work out?
Not well.
Goes to Brooklyn.
Not well.
Not good. Now with the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard. Wanted to be reunited with Russell Westbrook. How'd that work out? Didn't.
Not well.
Now Westbrook won last night with Denver. Who, by the way, Denver fired their coach with 7 games to go and won a game 7 last night. I'm just saying, there are chokers. Like, I don't think we talk about James Harden enough. He's lost a game 7 with 4 different teams. Rockets, 76ers, Nets, and now Clippers. I mean, it's worse than Doc Rivers. He's worse than Doc Rivers.
No, actually, they belong together. That is 2 peas in a pod.
Should I just put him with the freak now?
Yep.
Imagine those 2 bums, 3 bums.
We have been using the term loser on the show today, Joe, which is probably a term we overuse in sports talk radio. This guy is a loser. He's honestly, I think one of the biggest losers of my lifetimes in sports. Bar none. Choking dog, puke, the last guy you want if you want to actually win, the ultimate stat accumulator, not a team player. I wouldn't want anything to do with James Harden if I were an NBA team. It amazes me that he has had so many destinations. I could have told you this about James Harden 3 destinations ago. And I'm sure he'll end up somewhere else now, too, that it didn't work out in L.A. Loser, loser, loser.
James Harden's last 3 game 7s, 7 points last night, 2 for 8. 8 shots. 8. Against the Celtics in 23. 9 points, 3 for 11.
He's only taking 8 shots, too. I mean, here's a guy who... does he not want to go on? Like, I'm serious. Does he get to Game 7 and say, I'm 48 minutes away from going home? That's who James Harden is. 48 minutes away from the strip club. Again. What a guy.
It's true. He is the problem.
He's seriously one of the greatest losers in the history of sports. Like that level stuff.
Man.
You want to take?
Yeah.
You know who I think we'll be talking about in 10 years in a similar vein? Luka. Kind of a loser. Spectacular offensive player, right? And Harden in his prime, spectacular offensive player. MVP. Oh, the guy you'd want to build around. How could the Thunder have possibly let James Harden go? I get it. The Mavs embarrassed themselves with that trade. The story about that trade to me has never been the fact that the Mavs traded Luka. It's when they traded Luka and what they got for Luka. That's the problem. I'm going to tell you right now, though, Joe. His style of play is not conducive to winning. And I wonder if we're going to be talking about him in some way in the same regard. Out of shape. Doesn't want to play defense. his teams end up losing in the end. I don't want to fully say he's going to go full James Harden because that is a hard thing to do, to go full James Harden. I think there's a little of it. There's just a smidge of it.
I won't dismiss it, but you know who I will while we're on it, if we may. I think LeBron James has been really bad since winning in the bubble. Like his, Game 7 was a no-show.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking time off on offense because he plays so much defensively. I give him credit for what he's done in his 40s. I do. I think he's still one of the better players in the league. I don't think he's a top 10 player anymore, though. I don't. But there in the NBA, like for the people who have called Jason Tatum soft or the Celtics, names, I think you could at least say the Celtics, although they had their struggles, for the most part, the Game 7 that they lost, Tatum got hurt. Brown didn't play to his potential. Brown ended up playing and got there. I think Tatum has now began his revenge tour. But we're starting to see guys like Chris Paul, James Harden, Kevin Durant, who was a winner, LeBron, who was the winner. We're just starting to see them all torpedo. And the cream's always rising to the top now, and it's the Celtics. Because they lost early on. Like Jordan, like Isaiah Thomas, like players who struggled early on, once they get past the hump, they stay there. Steph has stayed there. Can Jokic stay there? I don't know. They don't do anything for him.
No. Boy, is he fun to watch, though. Wow, is he.
But, Murray's a great player when healthy.
Yep.
Porter's great when he's healthy. Aaron Gordon gives them something when he's healthy. But they don't build around him, and they fire their coach. But they did say last night they don't think they win that series without firing their coach. But all-time loser, there's no doubt about it. James Harden is a loser. We talk about losers today. That guy's a loser.
That is the Mount Rushmore of losers right there. Put him right up there with the beard and all.
I didn't even mention Giannis. I think he's starting to become a loser.
Not to the level of James Harden.
You're right. He's won a championship. Yep. But, most of the things that I think Giannis has been criticized for weren't his fault. Halliburton's dad getting in his face, probably not his fault. But complaining about shooting free throws and then moving the basket and stuff, his brother chasing a ball, is not his fault, but soft. All right, we got another hour to go. What could we possibly talk about?
Who knows? Find out next.
Here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Maz here for Window Nation.
Yeah.
Just you and one other man?
No, I do like more of a group setting. I'd say three
listen,
or four guys.
Have you Googled what a mandate is? Like, I know in your head you know what a mandate is.
I do, but let's... a platonic outing by two typically straight men, often in settings that would otherwise be reserved for romantic encounters. Oh, you see, now that's interesting. See, I would consider a mandate like going out on the golf course.
Nope, can't involve sports.
Can't involve sports. Dinner with one friend, is that a mandate? Does it depend on the restaurant? Like, what's the deal here? Are you sitting at the bar? Is that a mandate if you're sitting at the bar, or if you're having like a sit-down, two-table, sitting across from each other type of thing?
I have gone out with Bird before. Just him and I eating food.
Mandate.
And it was a mandate.
That's a mandate.
Now, we weren't like, it wasn't like we lit a candle.
You should have.
It was probably.
Yeah.
But,
stare into each other's eyes.
Jeff, have you been on a mandate?
I'm sure I have. Yeah, absolutely.
What else? Like, I've done dinner. Now, have I, like, gone to a watering hole and sat at a bar next to one of my friends who's just as miserable as I am? Absolutely.
Yeah. Haven't we all?
But is that a mandate?
I think so.
Do you know what I don't know to get? How do men just say, hey, honey, going to play golf for the day, I'll see you later, and just go away for 8 hours? Like, how do you get that? How do you get that peace for 8 hours? Is it because they're getting the peace too?
Yeah, probably. That, or you have to go out at 6 a.m. on a Saturday.
Like,
I'm not doing.
As a kid, I told you I grew up across from George Wright, so I used to go down this pathway, and they'd walk right in, and they'd bless me to go play the back nine, and as long as I was clean, didn't ruin, cleaned all my divots, we were good. Anyways, I don't know where we got into this mandate thing, but it's something it's been kind of grinding me. All the new athletes, like Abdul Carter wants number 56.
Yeah, you can't have it.
And then wants number 11, but Phil Simms' family's like, Whatever happened to, like, creating your own dynasties? Or creating your own, like, image? Who's Abdul Carter? I only saw you in the, you played for Penn State, you were good. But, like, who are you? Like, I don't know. It's something that's kind of bothering me about sports is, like, how about you work hard, you try to be a starter, and then you become, like, a team player and a captain, and then maybe a Pro Bowler.
You be your own person.
Yes.
With your own number, which is why there are retired numbers in sports. There's a reason why, Joe, the Red Sox have not given out 21 in 30 years. They just won't put it up on the stupid wall.
There's some serious entitlement going on. And I understand that you have to cater to quarterbacks. Did the Patriots cater to Drake May in the draft this year?
Yes.
They did.
Yep.
I agree.
They traded away Joe Milton just to cater to Drake May. Yes.
Do you have a problem with it?
Trading the backup? Yeah, I think I have a little bit of a problem with it because if you can't handle the backup, then that says something about you.
We don't know that about him, but you know what he did say this week, Drake May?
He said he wanted an opportunity to be a backup, right?
Yeah. Which I kind of liked.
Kind of a put down. Hey, I want to see that competitiveness.
Kind of liked it.
I just want to see it when the guy's actually here and not here.
There's a lot of entitlement going on. I don't like it in sports.
Athletes are entitled by nature. Entitled creatures.
I feel like the NBA now, when you come out of school, you can't be entitled because like there's not that one and done. Like Cooper Flagg, I don't know if he's entitled. Like he probably could make more money. Like I just look at Quinn Ewers could have made more money staying in school and transferring.
Shadur, entitled.
Oh yeah. So overrated topic to discuss. The reason why people didn't draft him was because he didn't interview well.
Right. And the tape is questionable. So
he's talented, don't get me wrong. In his bloodline, I'm in on it.
Yeah. But the tape, there are questions about him as a player.
Yeah.
And then there are real questions about him based on the way he interviewed. So teams said, screw this guy.
Yeah, I just had nothing to do with anything else besides his entitlement.
Yeah. Trust me, the Browns took the kid from Oregon, and then you sit down Friday night and you say, all right, well, now we can take this kid because not only is he not our number one guy, he's not our number two guy, and he needs to come in and prove it.
Do you remember when the Red Sox had 5 aces?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who are they again? Do you remember who they were?
Wade Miley, Clay Buchholz. What is this? 2015.
The 5 aces.
Bum. Don't make me look this up.
Yes, please
2015
do.
Red Sox.
The Cleveland Browns have 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah, none of them are good.
Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco,
Yep.
Kenny Pickett. Remember him? First round pick. Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders.
Here are your Red Sox 5 aces. Wade Miley, who made the most starts at 32. Rick Porcello.
Oh yeah,
28.
Was he Cy Young that year?
No, very much not. He had a 5 ERA. Joe Kelly, 25 starts. Clay Buchholz, 18 starts, got hurt. Shocker. Eduardo Rodriguez made 21 starts. Henry Owens made 11.
Wow.
Woof.
5 aces, huh?
Yeah. Justin Masterson, 9 starts. Stephen Wright's 9. Craig Breslow started 2 games for the Red Sox that year. Is he an opener? They didn't have openers at that point. Rich Hill.
5 aces, baby.
Yeah, and then you have about 10.
That's a little entitlement there, too.
5 aces. That went well. That was a good comment.
Nothing was worse than closer by committee. Chad Fox.
Still hurts me to this day. 2003, Carl Crawford. Chad Fox. What a bum. Bum's bum.
A bum's bum. I like that. Justin's in Lynn. What's up, Justin?
Hey, Joe, I have a Red Sox thing that really bothers me, and it has to do with yesterday's game, Joe. They had first and second with Val yesterday, and they lost the game because they didn't move the guys along in the 8th inning yesterday, and they hit into the double play. And that really bothered me because they don't move the runners along when they have runners on first and second. No, first and second with one out show, and they didn't move the guys in motion. And I just wanted your thoughts on that, bud. That bothered me yesterday.
I'm sorry it bothered you, Justin. A lot of things bother me about the Red Sox.
That moment did bother me yesterday. Runners at first and second. Connor Wong at the plate. Double play.
How about just a
1 out? Probably doesn't call for a bunt there, especially with Rafaela coming up. But what it doesn't call for, I mean, dude, literally the only thing you can't do is hit into a double play there.
Hey, real quick. Do you think... Okay, you're right. Was there a pinch hit situation? The way that Navarez has been playing?
No. What actually... They need Yoshida to pinch hit in those situations.
And he's out there today, but they're still saying he doesn't look right.
They've sent him to Siberia. That thing still doesn't make sense.
Should they have pinched hit Connor Wong?
No, because there wasn't a better option on the bench.
Is Connor Wong improving the starting pitching now that he's back?
No,
okay.
He's not. Narvaez should be their starting catcher, but he should not be a pinch hitter because he's not good enough to pinch hit.
Got it.
Wong is a better hitter. Not that you've seen it this year, but he is a better hitter. He's not good enough behind the plate.
I guess where I'm going with it is at some point you have to make a decision on Connor Wong.
Yeah, he's not the answer.
Could Yasmani Grandal do anything?
He's probably washed at this point. Catcher's a problem in the organization. I'm not second guessing.
And they traded Kyle Teal.
Yeah, you got your ace, so I'm not going to complain about that. It's something you need to address in the long term, though.
But is Connor Wong the guy when it comes to their staff?
No, he's not, because he's not the guy behind the plate. And if he's not hitting, then he really can't be the guy. Like, the thing about Wong is he's a better offensive catcher than he's shown this year, and you get a trade-off, right? He's not as good behind the plate. I'll take the better defensive catcher 10 times out of 10 over the offensive catcher, and Wong hasn't been that. I tweeted this out, Joe. I said, I think Connor Wong's about 0 for 2025 with runners in scoring position. That was mostly being facetious. Turns out it's actually true. Connor Wong is 0 for 17 with 8 strikeouts and 2 double plays with runners in scoring position this year. He actually is 0 for 2025 with runners in scoring position. Bad situational baseball.
Imagine embellishing something to be funny that actually is true.
Totally true. Joe, most jokes are based in reality, right?
Yeah.
Somebody will make a joke about you and say, well, no offense. Well, there was a little bit of offense.
There's a little offended there. You wouldn't say no offense if you didn't want me to be offended.
Right. I mean, you're saying no offense, but there's a little offense. Sneaky amount of offense. Sometimes it's not so sneaky. Connor Wong, sneaky, not so sneaky, really bad with runners in scoring position.
Oh, the Red Sox. Kirk is in Charlton. Hey, Kirk.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Getting back to the change of lead singers. What about Black Sabbath going from Ozzy Osbourne to the greatest Ronnie James Dio?
That's true. Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm heading to the AC/DC concert now.
You going now? Like you're going to be tailgating all day?
Kind of going with the family and, going to fire up the grill. And
I'm showing up late,
Did you get some BT? What'd you get for, what are you guys tailgating? Are you going to get like some BT's barbecue? What are you going to get?
Grinders, steak tips.
Steak tips. A grill? You bringing a grill?
Yep.
Ooh, charcoal or gas or what?
Gas.
Gas.
Yeah.
That's the move. You got a truck? You got a truck?
Thank you. Have a good one.
Joe. Jeff, the most unique thing about the Joe Murray experience is normally we as the host hang up on the callers.
The callers have to be like, yes, see you later.
Joe lets these people
man, I
go
gotta
on
go.
forever. I mean, just keeps asking them to the point where they say, Joe, I called you, but I'm hanging up on you.
You're right.
I've never been with a radio host who gets hung up on more than Joe Murray.
Yeah. Well, I was curious. He said he was grilling. He brought a gas grill. I want. How do you bring a gas grill? You gotta have a truck, right?
One would assume.
I've always been a charcoal at an event. Pat's game's always been charcoal. We've never brought a propane tank with us.
No. Charcoal for tailgating. That's the approach. Yeah, I mean, I would bring a charcoal grill tonight, Joe, but I won't. I won't be able to do that.
I would just go to Lambert's on the way.
Yep, good approach if you're coming from that direction. But no, I will be eating with the fancy people. I won't be eating.
Oh, yeah. Lobster rolls tonight, you think?
One can only hope. I would assume.
Clam chowder?
I would assume.
Steak tips?
Probably.
Chicken?
Out.
What?
Yeah, that's right. What would be at the Gillette Stadium? Burger, fries, wings.
Anything you could want.
What about a nice filet with a baked potato?
I would love that. Loaded baked potato?
Did I tell you about the WrestleMania one? Baked potato with mac and cheese on top.
That's nice.
With a lobster tail on top. Now, it wasn't a Maine lobster.
Right. I mean, you're getting Vegas lobster. It is what it is. I'll still take it.
It's great.
Fantastic.
They had a T-bone steak. They had prime rib with the really good au jus. It's really good. And they kept saying, "Hey, do you want more? Because we're a little slow." I said, "Yeah, no problem." So they sliced it up real nice for me. It's good. Oh, do you know what else they had? I don't know if I've talked about this yet, but they had. My favorite drink is an Arnold Palmer iced tea.
Classic.
They had an Arnold Palmer station, so you could get your iced tea and your lemonade, or you can do your lemonade and your iced tea.
That's worth the price of admission right there.
I feel like we should have an Arnold Palmer station here. Just like, you know how there's water bubblers?
Yep.
There should be a bubbler of iced tea, unsweetened, with lemonade.
Send in a help ticket.
Oh, what do we have? Like a Jira? What does you, at your work, do you have a service where you send in tickets?
We have that here, Joe.
We do. Oh, we do?
Yeah, we do.
It's not text Dennis?
No, you don't. It's not how it's supposed to be done. You go through the process instead of calling Dennis, poor Dennis on his day off, be like, "Hey, Dennis, this doesn't work."
Do we have an app for that?
I'm sure there's an app. There's a thing on your desktop. Joe, are you logged into the computer?
I am logged in. Yep.
Just go to your desktop.
Cam here now.
Where is it? Help desk. It's the giant button that says help on your desktop. Just click it. And you can submit all your complaints right there.
Oh, that little red button?
Yeah.
That says help desk?
Yeah.
Should I click it? I'm going to click it.
Click it. Why not? See what happens. Then you can submit whatever you need done.
Wow. I never knew this.
Happy to help.
This was helpful. I've learned something today.
That's why I'm here, Joe.
Paulie's in the truck. Paulie.
Hey, what's happening, boys? Joe, you going to the show tonight?
Matt's going to the show tonight.
You're not going? Neither am I. The only reason why I'm not, though, is I got a very important medical procedure tomorrow, and I just can't go out tonight. Can't make it. Got Jackie Green 2 weeks from last night, though. And then at that City Winery, McCarthy, Joe, especially you, McCarthy, you would love it. Well, it'll cost you about $30. You will love it. It'll be the steal of the summer for you. And got the Black Crowes, of course. Hopefully they'll be headlining on that Saturday night on the weekend of Boston Calling. And the bands that I could say. And speaking of the bands, I'll go Lynyrd Skynyrd for starters. When Ronnie Van Zant died and Johnny Van Zant stepped in, and he looks the same, sounds the same. That's the most important thing. You have to have something that sounds the same. Now, Mike Campbell, lead guitarist for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, he grew up with Tom Petty right across town, the same town in Florida, northern Florida. They founded the band. And I saw Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs at the Orpheum in December, and he sounds just like Tom Petty. All they have to do is drop the Tom Petty name, no disrespect to Tom Petty, and just go with the Heartbreakers, and everybody would come running down. It was a sick show. He was quite outfitted. He had every piece you could imagine: horns, female backup singers, three leads. Great. He had a bassist, couple of drummers. It was sick. Quite outfitted. Two drummers.
Two drummers.
Couple. One guy was just playing bongos. The other guy had a full set, but he was quite outfitted. It was a great show. The third song, they did a rendition of Georgia that brought tears to my mind. It just blew my mind, man. It was great. But, yeah. Can I, and the Red Sox, boy, they get lucky that Cassis got hurt. That kid's a walking disaster. Now they have.
I disagree with that. And Joe, I did that.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Jeff, he's completely given up on. He's just letting them go. I got to step in.
No, Matt. So just so everyone knows, that was Holden Caulfield stream of consciousness level. Would you agree?
I thought Paulie was pretty spot on.
How long did he go?
How long did you let him go, Joe? 2 minutes, 10 seconds.
Okay, I thought it was longer. It felt longer.
It did feel longer. Did feel longer. But once again, might I remind you that you have the drop button in front of you. You have the power. You don't need to wait until they hang up on you, Joe.
No, I get it. He was going.
He was doing his thing.
That was only 2 minutes?
Yeah, 2 minutes, 10 seconds.
Jesus. All right. Hey, there's a new Belichick update.
We got to get to this. This is...
the other night we were coming up with names. You know how there's like Benifer?
Mm-hmm.
Or like,
Bill Don.
Okay, yes. I got a couple.
All right.
Maybe we can create our own before we leave.
Workshop them.
So we got that. And, really, that's whatever you want to do. We're here until 2 o'clock on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray.
I'm going to take the L on this one. I did it the other night, so I'm going to do it again now. I always said he'd be back in the NFL.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Taking the L. I lost. I'm lost.
I think we now understand why he isn't in the NFL, Joe.
Before we get into that, maybe we talked about this off the air. I've been thinking about it. The worst decision that Bill Belichick ever made for himself was Matt Patricia. I know that they didn't play Malcolm Butler in a Super Bowl. It cost him a Super Bowl, but they won one later on. The Matt Patricia deal, it was so bad that, and even though he was getting better, if you look at the numbers, Mac Jones was getting better that season. He was. Mm-hmm. Although he, lost his head and was calling elsewhere. And once Kraft was like, he sent a letter out to fans that was like, we're going to have a new offensive coordinator, and it was Bill O'Brien, which was suspect. It didn't work out, right?
Suspect.
It was, right? Suspect. Belichick didn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
O'Brien took the money. It didn't work out for either of them. Didn't work out for Mac Jones. But that was the move that made Kraft meddle again. It was also the move where Kraft had to kind of take control of Bill again or get involved. And looking at it in hindsight, Bill hung himself on the leash that he was given. Kraft made an awful decision by manipulating Bill Belichick and the whole contract with Mayo. They both lost it. They both lost it. All their success losing Brady made them go crazy. Both of them. But in Bill Belichick's worst move, it was hiring Matt Patricia because everything else went downhill.
Well, his worst move until now. This thing
it's the starter. Hiring Matt Patricia is not as bad as what's going on right now. You're right. And I guess we could compare it if you really want to.
I don't know how much I want to psychoanalyze this situation, Joe. But Bill Belichick is a man who experienced very little failure. Tom Brady walks out the door. Started failing.
Well, he failed in Cleveland.
Yeah,
I'll give him that.
He hasn't failed in a long time.
It's been 20-something years.
He was a much younger man the last time he failed. Now he's an old man, failing again for the first time in a long time, and those decisions have now been compounded by bad decisions. And this thing he's got going on is a bad decision. This is why he's not in the NFL. I've been sitting around wondering, Joe, why Bill Belichick wasn't in the NFL. And yes, there were mistakes made in Foxborough. He has not been successful without Tom Brady. But, think about the number of stooges in this league. You'd say, yeah, you'd take Bill Belichick over that guy. Of course you would. Why is he not in the league? It can't just be because he hasn't been successful without Tom Brady. There have been a million head coaches who have gotten second or even third opportunities who have experienced nowhere near the success that Bill Belichick has experienced. He's sellable to a fan base. You're telling me you hire Bill Belichick as your next head coach, your fan base isn't excited about that? Of course it is. Why is he not in the league? We know why now. We know why. This whole thing he's got going on, problem. Big problem. Which is why he ended up at a place like UNC. A place that now they're all worried about it.
Maybe it's the only place that really would have hired him.
Yes, it is.
Struggling ACC school with history, right? Mm-hmm. Dean Smith, right? In North Carolina's defense, they want to be a football team. So go hire Bill Belichick. No, this is not what they wanted. This wasn't what they envisioned. They fired an older guy in Mac Brown for Bill Belichick, who has a young girlfriend who's his muse. Pro Football Talk today, Bill Belichick explores hiring an outside PR firm to help.
Wait a minute.
But I think the damage has been done, don't you think?
Wait, hold on. If you're hiring an outside PR firm, is that an acknowledgement that Jordan actually is not a PR person? What?
So here's I think this is Florio. Bill Belichick seems to know his current publicity plan isn't working.
Oh, no, really? What could possibly make you believe that? Jordan has all the answers. She's a PR pro. Haven't you heard?
Jordan. Belichick has been talking to at least one experienced PR specialist in hopes of boosting his book tour and overall interest for North Carolina's football program. He's been having conversations with former Bears VP of Communications Brandon Faber. The discussions have been occurring for a couple of months now. However, nothing has been formalized. The potential assignment encompasses working directly with North Carolina and or assisting Bill Belichick with non-UNC matters, like his book.
Oh.
So is Jordan getting the boot?
She should be. After that.
So is Bill now booting Jordan because of the publicity?
He should.
So
she
is the report that he is
for him.
Is the report that he is reaching out to the Bears communications PR guy to help with the bad publicity he's been getting?
Yeah.
So does that mean that he is moving on from Jordan?
It's the beginning of the phase out process. Because you have to phase her out in that sense. I mean, Joe, I'm not a PR expert. I do some PR work professionally. What she did in that CBS interview is one of the greatest self-inflicted PR wounds I have ever seen in my life. That thing was a bungling. That was a complete and total mismanagement. But no, she's his publicist. Well, get a better publicist, because she's not a good one. You know, the first answer that Bill gave about their relationship, perfect. That's all you need to. Hey, I've never really been worried about what people say about us. Fine. You're not answering the question. You're dodging it. Bill Belichick doesn't need help dodging questions. Follow-up question. Hey, how'd you guys meet? You think Bill Belichick can't find a way to dodge that question? Instead, she cuts in. We're not talking about this. Lady, he doesn't need your help dodging questions here.
I guess where I'm going with this is this the first move away from Jordan?
It should be. It should be. If it's not, it should be.
Bill's not stupid. I will tell you that. He ain't stupid. But she ain't helping.
Bad for business.
The only... Trying to use the right language here. Have you ever seen a muse on a sideline? Besides in the movie The Blind Side.
She has found her way into his life in many different assets.
Oh, assets.
Aspects.
Oh, aspects. Sorry, I couldn't tell her.
No,
assets?
I meant to say aspects. Yeah,
okay.
Many different assets.
Yeah, she's got
a lot of assets. Bit of a Freudian slip there. Real estate. Not Joe. Not only is she a publicist, she's a real estate mogul.
Mm-hmm. Love that language there, Matt.
Assets. Triple deckers, Joe. That's an asset.
Well, we're on a little bit of a delay here. In the Red Sox game. Do you think we can bet on the first pitch on what the result will be?
Yeah, you can do that. You can bet on anything.
Well, how about this? I'll bet that the first pitch is a home run.
Do it. What odds are you getting on that? Against Garrett Crochet? I'm not making that bet. Not doing it.
Do you want to make a side bet?
Sure, why not?
I think the first pitch of the game is going to be a home run.
Okay.
And
I'll give
you'll have to buy me a McMurray sandwich.
Okay. What do I get? If the first pitch of the game isn't a home run.
99 Gold Fever wings.
Not a wings guy.
Gold Fever fingers? How about a Jimmy John's sub?
Sure, why not? I'll take a sub.
You love a Jimmy John's sub.
I haven't had Jimmy John's in years. It just happened to be near our old studio. That's all. But I did show up often with it.
What about now? Where do you go now?
Not Your Average Joe's. Right here.
Oh, the best bread.
The best bread on planet Earth.
Oh, and the oil with the cheese.
My God, Joe.
Cheese.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
That's some good stuff right there.
I've ordered just the bread there before. Do you know that? I've called up and be like, hey, can I get 2 loaves of bread with oil and cheese? And they say, no problem. I don't know what I pay for it.
The best.
And then it comes in bags and
you can see the grease coming out. Oh, it's so good.
Tin foiled up. All right, Matt. First pitch of the game. Here we go.
Not going to be a home run. You owe me some Not Your Average Joe's bread. That's a home run. How delayed is this TV? I should have known. What a stupid bet that would be.
Who's more dumb here? Matt? For taking the bet?
That's an all-time moment. This TV is delayed by 3 minutes. What the hell is that? I was going to say, it was supposed to be a 1:35 first pitch. Jesus. All right, Joe, you get a McMurray sandwich. Can you make a McMurray? Wow. All right.
Romy Gonzalez, you see him on first right there? Watch this.
Not great.
Right. Okay, so was this the home run ball? Well, that was a doozy right over the middle of the plate.
Yeah, that's not good. That was a long
second row. That was
delay,
almost like you in the monster seats.
Yeah, I would have been ducking that one for sure.
He's throwing up the ones. Who hit that?
Buxton.
Oh, okay. Buxton, isn't that the place in Shawshank?
It is. Under the tree.
There'll be a rock there.
Yeah. That's where he first made love to his wife, Joe. I can't believe you got me with that.
We got to go to break. Final segment coming up next here on the Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Hurry into the 99 restaurant this Friday through Sunday for their double bonus card special. For every $25 you purchase in gift cards, receive 2 $5 bonus cards. Offer valid in restaurant for this weekend only. You gotta love the nines.
Set yourself up for success. Their locally owned Benjamin Moore store proudly serves the New England area with more than just paint. They're here to support you and help you find everything you need to bring your projects to life. From expert advice to premium products, they'll help you every step of the way. Enjoy exceptional service and explore a selection of beautiful paint colors designed for lasting results. Visit the paint shops today and experience the difference that Benjamin Moore's quality products and personalized guidance can make.
Hey guys, it's your girl Kendra. If you haven't already, you need to download Profit X right now. It's the first ever peer-to-peer sports exchange where you're not playing against the house, you're playing against other fans. That means way better odds, like 20% better on average compared to your typical sports book. You can even set your own odds. How cool is that? Baseball's in full swing, the basketball playoffs are heating up, and when you use my code Kendra, you can score up to $200 in profit cash during your first 30 days. What are you waiting for? Download Profit X today.
Greetings, Boomtown. Ever since this neighborhood switched to Xfinity Internet,
the Wi-Fi is booming!
Xfinity combines the power of internet and mobile with one all-in plan.
So we've all got lightning-fast, secure Wi-Fi speeds at home and on the go with Wi-Fi Power Boost from Xfinity Mobile.
You get the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best in-class equipment and unlimited data included. Plus, add an unlimited mobile line.
All for only $40 a month for 1 year. To celebrate this combo, we're matching our shows together.
It's everything you need all in one plan. Plus, learn how to get a free 5G phone with a premium unlimited line. Now, sit back and relax with the smooth, relaxing sound
of face-melting acid metal!
Brilliant.
Visit Xfinity.com to learn more. Ends June 23rd with paperless billing and autopay stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet gateway required. Taxes, fees extra. After 1 year rate increases to $110 a month. After 2 years regular rates apply. Actual Wi-Fi speeds vary. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report August 2024.
Mass General Brigham Health Plan is integrated with one of the nation's leading health systems, offering health insurance with comprehensive benefits and a broad network of doctors and hospitals. With Mass General Brigham Health Plan, you'll find unique options for families, businesses, and retirees. You deserve coverage as advanced as your care. Call your broker or visit massgeneralbrighamhealthplan.org.
Hi, it's Chris from Blue Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air. When the heat rises, we're ready. Whether it's a fast repair, a system tune-up, or a break.
So it turns out, Joe, the TV, 7 minutes behind. Good moment. Strong. Good look for me.
Won my bet.
You get a McMurray.
Make me a McMurray. Make me one right now.
I can't hear that song without thinking of that Hardy production.
Who's going to be the Bruins' next head coach? And the lottery's tomorrow. And will there be a porking?
Yes, and I couldn't even tell you at this point. I wanted Mike Sullivan. How could you not want Mike
Do you know
Sullivan?
there's no odds? There's odds for the Kraken. There's odds for all the other teams. Monty in a Game 7 tonight, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Against
Winnipeg.
The
President's Cup winning team. President's Trophy, I should say. I apologize.
That's right.
Don't.
But Bob got me on that one once.
Don't. Yeah.
Bob Beers got me.
No, and I knew what you meant by that. I mean, we've all been got by Bob. You know, on the other end, we used to do those interviews.
Golf.
Yeah.
Hockey.
Yep. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
Yes. Imagine that.
Is Don Sweeney going to have to call up Tara and say, hey, actually, somebody didn't want to interview for this job?
How come there are no odds? So I thought Pandolfo would be. I don't know why he'd leave. Laviolette might be going to the Kraken. Sullivan's gone. Quenneville interviewed with somebody. Oh, the Ducks. I don't know if he'd bring him in, though.
If you were an in-demand coaching candidate in the NHL, would you want this job?
I personally think that this is a coveted job. But people are choosing
Don
the
Sweeney thinks so, too.
They're choosing the Rangers and the Kraken and, you know.
Because you're going to be held responsible here. If you were a head coaching candidate, Joe, and you watched that press conference with Jacobs, Neely, and Sweeney, would you want to come work here? Or would you say, I'm getting myself into a bad situation?
The reason why I would not want to work here in Boston is because Sweeney's in the last year of his deal. So if he picks you as the coach, the next GM, if he's gone, might not want you and you're gone.
Right. Not to mention, too, and if Sweeney sticks around, he's going to scapegoat you. I do not think it's a desirable job right now. Historically, yes, it is a desirable job. The original 6 team and history and all that stuff, and it's a good hockey town. Yeah, there are a lot of reasons why it should be desirable. In this moment, 2025 offseason, if I were a quality NHL coaching candidate, I would take the Rangers. If I'm Mike Sullivan, from here, all that you would think, would want to coach. No, I want to go to the Rangers, not here.
I don't have sources. I would want to let everybody know when I give you this take, I've sniffed around because I'm looking for odds. I'm looking for betting odds. There's no betting odds. But I've done some sniffing.
Yep. Anything smelly?
Want to know the name?
Yeah.
Mark Savard.
He's an assistant somewhere, isn't he?
Tampa Bay, they just got kicked out. No, Toronto, sorry. He's still going.
That would be a Bruins thing. Bring in somebody with a connection to the...
Is he? Where is he right now? Why am I... He was with Calgary. Anyways, that's what I've been sniffing around and hearing.
Current assistant coach of the Maple Leafs.
Maple Leafs. Okay, I don't know why I thought Calgary for some reason. Yeah, he's with the Leafs right now. So he's still in the playoffs. Could that be the reason why we're hearing nothing?
Possibly.
So
it makes sense.
No source at all.
Guy
I've
they're
just
comfortable
been
with.
The people that I know, I've been saying, hey, what do we got here?
Right. Montgomery was from outside the family, too. So it makes sense that they'd want to go back inside the family. Not that I would want to do it, but yeah. Especially given that Sweeney's job probably is on the line. He's going to want to go with somebody that he knows. Yeah.
In or out?
In based on the fact that Sullivan's gone. That was my choice, but that ain't happening.
Did you notice who else is back in the organization?
Char.
Remember the 2 biggest signings that they had?
Mm-hmm. Char and Savard.
I don't have sources. I'm just telling you what I've sniffed around. It's me connecting the dots.
Makes sense.
It's actually connecting the breadcrumbs.
Joe, Detective Joe? I think you're on. Gumshoe. So they used Carmen Sandiego. That's what they used to call you. Gumshoe.
Right. Gumshoe.
Yep. Good job.
So
Good job on that.
That's what I got for you. So we got Roger Clemens' numbers getting retired.
It should. I mean, that's not happening, but it should. Yeah.
AC/DC could be the best band of all time with a second singer.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ready to brush off the winter blues when the snow melts and the cold weather?